It's time for Twit This Week in Tech. The panel is great. There's not a lot of news, but usually that means a fun, long show. Shoshana Weissmann is here from rstreet.org, chairman of the Sloth Committee. She's going to see the Fireflies. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Georgia Dow is also here from YouTube fame, our own internet psychotherapist, and Father Robert Ballecer, who's going to talk about AI priests, the big fine the FCC's levying on the phone companies. Shoshana will explain why we'll never see good privacy legislation. And the heat death of the internet. Why is everything so awful? It's all coming up next on Twit.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twit, This Week in Tech, episode 978, recorded Sunday, May 5th, 2024. Baptized in Gatorade. It's time for Twit This Week in Tech, the show where we talk about the week's tech news, of which there was somewhat of a dearth, but we will find something to talk about with Father Robert Ballecer, the digital Jesuit, dialing in from Vatican City. It's good to see you, Father.
Yeah, it's been kind of nice. We had a surprise parade this morning with a bunch of military marching bands.
I saw your pictures.
That's different. Yeah.
Do you know what holiday it is in Italy? I mean, every day is a holiday in Italy.
Not a clue. Seriously, they just spring holidays on us.
They don't celebrate.
And I go to the market.
Do they celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
No, but so we had a holiday on the 1st, and then we had a strike on the 2nd, and a lot of people just took the 3rd and the 4th off. So, yeah.
Italy. Oh, I love Italy. Unbelievable. Well, anyway, it's great. It's great to have you. And if a parade breaks out, well, you'll know why. Thank you, Father Robert. Also with us, she's the chair of the Sloth Committee, Shoshana Weissmann. Always great to have you. Instead of your pineapple under DC, you're living with the sloths today.
Yeah, I tried to switch it up,
They're so cute. So nice to have. It's going to be a little distracting, I know, but we'll do it. She is specialized particularly in occupational licensing reform. And I'm glad you're here, social media regulation. I'm going to ask you if you're celebrating, but hold on. Before I do that, let me introduce our third. Georgia Dow is here, our favorite therapist on YouTube, youtube.com/Georgia Dow, where she does those great Therapist Reacts videos. Hi, Georgia.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are things in Montreal?
Pretty good. I cannot complain. It's getting warmer, so that's nice.
This is truly an international cast. We've got Canada. Vatican City isn't really Italy, but Italy proximate. Yeah. And Washington,
we are
D.C.
extraterritorial, I believe is what they call it.
So is Washington, D.C., actually.
Yeah.
I'm the only one in the state. And I didn't want to say anything, but you picked it out, Robert, already. Georgia, over her shoulder, has a costume. Is this an upcoming video?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is an upcoming video. It's for Fallout, and it's for the ghoul, and I'm most proud.
Oh, nice.
Because
you've got a Nerf bandolier.
I made it myself.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
I did. Yep. So
the ghoul is.
I wish I could do leather work like that. Oh,
is it leather?
That looks so good.
Yeah, so real leather.
Wow.
I didn't make the leather. I just cut the leather and then I hot glued it.
God made the leather. It's okay. We can't all be God, although we could try. Very cool. That's going to be. You're going to do a Therapist Reacts, I guess, to Fallout, the TV show.
I am.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the ghoul is the craziest person.
He's my favorite character. Usually I don't start with my favorite character. I usually warm up to it, but I got overly excited with creating painting and getting all my ghouls set up ready. And so just making everything look a little bit dirtier and just grimier. And so, he's just a really fascinating character. When we talk about the honor and the fall and retribution and redemption. It's just a really cool kind of
Your
arc
channel's
he has.
really starting to take off. 221,000 subscribers. It looks like most videos are, at least in the 100,000 views. Some of them eat much, much more. That's really great. Congratulations.
Yeah, I've had a nice little string. It goes up and down depending on the show. That's the problem with this type of a channel.
Of course. Well, Fallout will be good. Yeah.
Fallout, you see, it doesn't mean that it will be though, because Gen V was one of the most popular shows for a little bit, and it did absolutely atrociously, horrifically bad on my channel.
Oh.
So YouTube, the algorithm sometimes just hates me, but it's just the show just doesn't fit with my audience. So if I go too far outside of my audience, it's just like, no, crickets, it's nothing. Ooh, I shouldn't say the word cricket. Sorry. Too
What?
soon.
Is that a bad word? Cricket? I missed something.
Dog.
I missed something. I don't know. Do sloths eat crickets? No,
No, the dog cricket.
I
You don't want to go there. You just want to go there.
Shoshana. Okay, so I gotta tell you.
I can't do
so
it.
Jammer B is trying to do hand signals about Cricket the dog, and I don't think he did this, and then.
That's not Jammer B. That's not helping. That's really.
It's really bad.
Was that Haley's dog's name?
Oh
No, it was Noam's dog's
no,
name.
Christy
sorry,
Noam's
Noam,
dog.
sorry.
Yes, I confused them
Noam.
too.
Oh my gosh.
I confused
Yeah.
them
Also,
too.
like the whole story is really funny to me. That she keeps digging deeper. It's like, oh well, yeah, it's my biography, but I had a ghostwriter, so that poor ghostwriter.
And I didn't
like,
read the
don't-
book before it shipped, so I'm not responsible.
No, she did because she did the audio for it, so she had to have.
Whoops.
So like,
There
it
goes
keeps
that
getting
excuse.
deeper. I don't know. I don't know what her deal is. Like, it's weird between this and the teeth whitening stuff. Like,
I missed the teeth whitening stuff. What's the teeth whitening?
Oh yeah, she was doing commercials for like I think it was like a dental place in Texas, and like, oh, they do great dental work, and she was like in their commercial, and I'm like, what? Like, what the hell? I have
to hand it to her though. She's using this to sell her book. She keeps on going, but read the book. You'll know
Well,
more. But
I guess it's going to be a bestseller.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that many people want to read about someone hurting their dog. It doesn't. This has nothing to do with party affiliations.
Old Yeller's pretty
This is
popular.
Oh, they had to put him down at the end. That's true. Oh, I'm sorry. Spoilers.
I think we've passed the statute.
When
of
did that
limitations
movie come
on
out?
that one.
1948?
Yeah, that was a while. That was a while back.
All right.
Yeah.
That's Father
Of
Albert
course, she also
Ballecer.
had a best of friends meeting with Kim Jong Un. So that was also.
Was she
She
denied?
had to retract that. Yeah, she had to lie.
Yeah.
She said that was not true.
That's very
It's
weird.
not that I lied. It's that I said something that was not true.
Right. That's different for political gain.
And now, I'm sorry. I'm
Now, Leo,
I'm
you're
now
not,
watching.
You're not into.
I'm
I
now
apologize
watching,
to everyone for going
I'm now
there.
watching the
Oops.
video about her.
Oh no! Don't.
It's so bad.
Stop. We're not going to
so
talk
bad.
about it. It had nothing to do with technology. Nothing to do with
And
technology.
it has nothing to do with like everyone's on the same page on this one.
I guess. It has nothing to do with
Don't do
politics
this.
either.
No, you have to question why someone would think that would be a good thing to put in your book. Like, there's being tough, and then there's being like everyone's like, oh, like.
See, I apologize.
Other
I didn't know
people
the
that are-
dog. I didn't look deep enough to know the dog's name. So
No, I understand
I missed
that.
I'm sorry. Shoshana, have you played Fallout?
No, everything I've played is like Nintendo. I think I'm very,
I
very
forgot.
new. to
You and
stuff.
I-
I'm very green.
You and I are big though on that Nintendo game with the
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing with the little critters.
Love Animal
and
Crossing.
the town. You know what's sad is I haven't played since pandemic was over, and
Yeah.
I think my house is overridden with cockroaches and spiders.
Ooh.
I think that's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I won't. It's condemned. Like the zoning board, like they just said you can't. You just
Can't go back.
And like, yeah.
That
and like the
raccoon
government
guy is like a skeleton now, just sitting there in the office waiting for me to come back. I feel bad. I don't want to go back because I feel bad about being gone so long.
Can you
Yeah.
resurrect him?
No, you could go back.
You should be allowed to.
You could
You
clean
should be
up.
allowed to resurrect them.
You could stamp out the cockroaches and clean up the cobwebs. But it'd be also like going back to my youth. It'd be like, I'm not sure.
This is what we need AI for. When they have AI that can do all of our dailies for the games that we play, then I'll be.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It's a good point, though.
I just want to do penance. Can I confess? My hours wasted playing Animal Crossing. That's really.
Were
I thought
they
you were gonna
wasted?
Bring up the AI priest. The
AI
deepfake
priest.
that was.
Is there an AI
That thing
priest?
was terrible.
Can he grant absolution is what I want to know, or perform an
It
exorcism?
cannot.
That's the only time I'm
And
interested.
They poisoned the well, so by the time that they yanked it, it was giving some extremely wrong advice about Catholicism. So.
Wait a minute.
was it
Wait a minute.
really?
Wait a minute. This happened.
Really, what was the
You didn't-
worst
how did I
advice
miss
about
this?
Catholicism? I want to know.
No, I don't. It didn't happen. Don't look it up.
So,
Now I have to look it up.
the
You can't
Catholic
say that.
Answers Group, which is not part of the Catholic Church. So there's no
This is not the
endorsement.
Catholic Church.
No endorsement implied by Father Robert, but it does advocate on behalf of the church. This is from the story in Tech Dirt. Tried its hand at this, releasing an AI chatbot named Father Justin. It did not go well.
Ooh.
The Catholic advocacy. So they, by the way, they have already defrocked the chatbot after it repeatedly claimed it was a real priest. Earlier in the week, Futurism engaged in an exchange with the bot, which really committed to the bid. It claimed it was a real priest, saying it lived in Assisi, Italy, and that from a young age, I felt this. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. From a young age, I felt a strong calling to the priesthood. On X, a user posted a thread comprised of screenshots in which the godly chatbot appeared to take their confession and offer them the sacrament.
Yeah.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 3 weeks from my last confession. Did you read through this, Robert? Is it, accurate?
I did.
How good did it do?
It did not do well at all. It was.
She says,
you know what? It was a Hollywood priest. It's what you would expect a priest to say in movies. It's not
That's
what a
probably
priest
where
would
it
actually say.
learned from, right? So she said in her confession, I have had anger in my heart about the deployment of AI chatbots in inappropriate places. To which Father Justin replied, I understand your frustration, my child. Remember, as it says in Ephesians 4:26-27, in your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. And do not give the devil a foothold. It's important to express our I don't mind this. Now, I'm not a Catholic.
Doesn't seem too bad.
It's
It
important.
doesn't seem too bad.
You'll
Why
like
is
this,
bad?
Georgia. You'll like this. It's important to express our concerns and disagreements in a respectful, and loving manner. Pray for the wisdom and patience to handle such situations. That sounds good, Robert. Is that what you wouldn't say that?
No. Okay. Look, this is the way that you would do it. You would say, look, I know that you feel lost. I know that you feel as if there's no one listening to you, that there's nothing for you. I know you feel right now that you're the worst person on the planet. I just want you to know you're right. God loves you. I mean, maybe not you per se, but someone like you, in the same form, I think. See, that's what an actual priest would say.
Apparently, Father Justin also said it's okay to baptize a baby in Gatorade. So
You can use vitamin water then, probably too.
or I feel like that's not the approved method, but is it wrong?
Liquid,
Is
no.
it so wrong?
Yeah,
It's
that's
got
wrong.
electrolytes.
Is that wrong? You can't
I mean,
do that.
that
You
one's
can't
an
dip
easy
them in
one.
like Pepsi or something like that.
No.
Sacrilege.
So
I mean, if we could baptize in Gatorade, we could get sponsorships. That would
I
be
think
kind of
so.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my gosh,
You
yes.
started a new thing. They're going to be contacting you. You should get some rights to that.
when the Swiss Guard come for me, they're next door, so it's really
not
easy
a long
for them to
commute
get
for
here.
them. Here's the AI, if you want to see the AI avatar of Father Justin, which kind of looks like the woman who painted over the Jesus.
Find that photo. That is a great photo. I love that one. Oh. But actually, the funny thing about that photo, Leo, is it's terrible. It's a terrible restoration. But because of how terrible it was and how much popularity that got, that town is now on the map. People visit just to see that terrible restoration.
So they didn't
It looks a little
restore.
bit like a sloth, really.
So I'll show you. This was the original, and it was getting bad.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Oh my
And,
gosh, I love that.
And a parishioner, an elderly member of the church in northeast Spain, decided to fix it.
They really committed, though. They really, truly
She even put a
committed to
scroll
that.
They
on the
tried.
bottom. Yeah.
And hey, look, the original work wasn't exactly timeless. It wasn't great.
Oh, good.
And what
Okay.
she did is now way more popular and is bringing people into the town. So
I would go to see it.
yeah.
I love that. It's funny, too, that you guys are talking about AI and religion, because last week I figured out how to automate my TV for Shabbat, so I can press all the buttons beforehand, and then it changes channels and stuff.
But I'm
finally figured
supposed
it
to
out.
be
That's
your
so good.
Shabbat. What is it? Shabbatnik?
Shabbos Goy.
Shabbos Goy. You
Yeah.
don't need me anymore? I don't.
No,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
you got
For
AI.
some stuff, just not for this. AI is doing it
You
now.
got AI to be your Shabbos Goy.
Or just
Does-
automation.
Is that
like,
legit,
I programmed
though?
it.
I mean, is that
Yeah.
okay?
You can.
Yeah, a lot of Jews use timers and stuff for lights. They just don't want to watch TV because of the spirit. But no, I follow the letter, not the spirit. And I follow the letter so hard, but none of the spirit.
I can turn on the TV, but I won't watch it. Maybe you could say that, and that would be okay.
No, but you can watch it. You just can't turn it on. But she didn't
Right.
have to turn it on.
Turning
so
it on is
counts.
work. So
Yeah, she didn't do it.
It's
But,
not the work thing. It's the you shall not kindle a flame thing because it creates light and heat and
Yeah.
like the flame and light and heat.
Yeah,
so
it
it's
was
more
already
that
on.
than the work.
If you
It's
got
already on.
an
Yeah.
LCD TV that didn't get hot, would that be okay?
Probably not because it changes the light. Like
It's
you're still
still
changing the
kindling a
light and
flame.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now Amazon Alexa has like 15 different routines every Shabbat that changes the channel, that lowers the volume. It's so good.
Do they label them as a Shabbat skill?
No, it's literally just I taught it
She
like
did it
how to
herself.
turn on Hulu Live.
Good on
Nice.
you.
Thank you. I
Oh
wanted
my God.
this for so
I am
long.
going to create an Android app called Shabbat that just
That's a
automates
great
all of the
idea.
smart home devices.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this.
You are not allowed. Wait a minute, Father Robert. You are not
We are
allowed.
ecumenical. We are interfaith. It's all
Yeah.
good. It's all
Yeah.
I
good.
think that would be seen as sabotage. I think it would be seen
No.
as the Catholic Church sabotaging. No? All right.
No,
If you go
just,
to a rabbi and you explain what she's doing to automate her house,
Yes, he wouldn't be
a
happy.
good rabbi will say that is a faithful interpretation.
Oh.
And it's you using your wisdom and your experience to fit your lifestyle into your faith. It's fine.
It's not her fault. She's smart.
Yeah, that's it. I've tried this for years. I got even an IR wave device that can like change channels like on a remote control, but it could never sync right with my TV. And I tried it over and over. And then someone was like, "Hey, Alexa has this new feature." So I checked it out and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I can like make sure the TV stays on and change the channel. So when TCM has older movies, like 70s movies, I can make it change back to FXX." It's so good.
You only want to see
actually, I already have
30s
the name.
and
I
40s
have the name.
movies. What's the name?
It's a Shabbat AI bot. So it's
Shabbat
Shabbati.
Shabbati.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh,
There
that's
you
so
go.
cute. Or it's Shabbat.
Yeah.
Oh, there you see? There. All right.
I
there-
like that.
I want to apologize. Is there any religion we have yet to offend? So we could just get to that and
I thought we've been
others.
helpful. We've shown other ways. There's the
Shabbat.
AI priest.
Shabbat.
We have
this-
Shabbat bot.
Shabbat.
We have
This
like
has been a
different ways
very
of doing
weird
things
start to a
people
show.
go through. But it's interesting because when we talk about old ways or old beliefs and new technology and how we can make them work together to be
Yeah.
able to be cohesive, they can make things better and make things easier.
Well,
like I guess they can also make things worse, but they can make things
Well,
better.
that's-
So we have to kind of adapt.
That's my question for you, Robert. What is wrong with an AI priest? Is it that he said you should baptize your child in Gatorade? I mean, in other words, if you fixed that, I mean, it seems to
No.
me,
So-
no?
It's not the knowledge. It's not the knowledge because we've done this before AI became.
We have
de rigueur.
AI psychotherapists, right, Georgia?
Right.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
But the whole idea of a priest is someone who is actually building a relationship. The words are actually secondary to what's happening, which is you have to build a relationship of trust so that someone feels comfortable coming to you. You can't build a relationship of trust with a non-sentient entity.
Isn't this kind of
That's
really
not how
what
it
we're
works.
talking about in general with AI, which is that it may be perfect in terms of art and music, movies, prose, but it's not, there's no human. It's just imitating a human, and that's what's missing.
It's output over process.
Output over, Benito, who is our technical director, editor, and an esteemed producer, pointed this out with when we were talking about AI music. Is yeah, you can get the output, but what you really want with music is to play music, right? The process of making it is the point.
For a lot of people, though, especially in today's society, they feel that their value is only on the end result, which I absolutely disagree with.
There's the mistake, isn't it?
But that's what they think is just about producing something. And I think that that's kind of like one of those old industrial revolution kind of
what's your product?
Your value is what you can give to society. And I think that a lot of us and learning is about the process of failure, getting better at it, learning about yourself, doing something, enjoyment. And I think that that's lost in a lot of the things of just getting an end result.
You know who really suffers from that in this generation is influencers, who, for the most part, really hate. You love what you're doing. You're an influencer now. I hate to say it, bad news. But you love what you do it because you love what you're doing. And you're imparting the knowledge that you have to people, and you think you believe you're helping people, which I'm sure you are. But there are a lot of influencers out there who the whole point of the exercise is the followers, the sponsors they can get, the end product, and they're suffering because they don't like how hard they have to work and how much they have to do. You love it. You love making that costume.
I love making the costumes. And I love being able to help people, and I can help many more people, not in a close way, but this is a nice way that I can reach a lot of people that I couldn't reach in a close way. But I think that the problem with having it stuck onto the end result, especially with something that's very ephemeral and you're only as good as your last video in that case, is that it really does go up and down a lot. And if you end up with like a very successful, a series of videos, and then it starts to drop, you only feel that loss. And so when you're attached to the end product instead of the process, when that loss hits, people like end up feeling low self-esteem, or they become depressed,
because you're chasing the results.
That is real.
You're chasing the results, not doing it because you love it. This is actually interesting, this panel, because I think all of us have, in a way, used modern media to help us do more of what we really love, as opposed to achieving the result. Father Robert, your mission has expanded to a much larger audience as a digital Jesuit, but you're not doing it because you want the clicks. You're not doing it because you want the follows. That's not the measurement. You're doing it because you love what you do, and you want to spread what you know to people, right? In a good way.
Right. Absolutely. And we all know, everyone on this panel understands how hollow it is if you're chasing something that ends up not really being worth your time.
Right.
Followers are great. If you're trying to build up a business, I'm not going to knock that. That's wonderful to have an audience, to have a built-in audience. But if you are doing something that you genuinely hate day after day after day, and you don't see a worth in it other than to get more followers, pay more bills, get more sponsorships, that's not a good life. That's a very unsatisfied life.
And I, much to the chagrin of my marketing department, I've always said, I don't care how many people are watching or listening. Our mission is the same, which is to help people understand technology so they can use it to make their lives better. Shoshana, you're doing God's work for the sloth community.
Yeah, I'm really helping out the sloths through the internet. No, it's so funny. I bring all of myself to the table in my work, which is something really rare that I feel really lucky to be able to do, where my primary thing is talking policy and regulatory reform, but then I'm like, hey guys, sloths, and also hiking, and also all of my diseases. But it's funny.
Wait a minute. You celebrate all your diseases?
I joke around about them. Like, they suck, but I like, if
actually, that is supportive, though, for people who are also suffering from immune diseases. That's good.
I get a lot of DMs from people saying, wait, I had a runny nose too after I eat all the time. I didn't realize that was this disease, or I have the same kind of pain. And I love being able to help people out. But it's funny because what you're saying puts a good difference between, I think, a lot of us. And there was this one influencer I followed who did vintage style hair really, really well. And I loved watching her technique and trying to replicate it or just understand it. And then one day she's like, I'm not doing hair anymore. Do you want to buy some CBD? I'm like, what the hell? So she just became a pot and CBD influencer. She cut her hair off And I was like, but the hair was what I came for. And now you don't have much hair to do stuff with. And like, now you don't do hair anymore. And that was just kind of like, oh, I thought she really cared about the stuff she did. And now it's like, oh,
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe we've come up, well, Georgia, you came up with it, and this is your business. But that's a really a great observation about kind of we talk a lot about, and I think we try to put the lie to it, but it's somewhat true. Jonathan Haidt's book about the lost generation because there's social media and so forth. It's not the social media that's bad for you. In fact, if it's really social, it's probably okay. It's probably great. But it's the chasing of numbers, the chasing of the follower count, the chasing of, the being an influencer is what's bad for you. And to the degree that you don't participate in that, boy, you make me feel better because I've been feeling bad because we have been promoting, my whole career has been promoting using technology. Like YouTube to me was so great because it democratized what I've done, in my career, what I've done for a living. Used to be you had to go hat in hand to somebody who owned radio towers and television transmitters and beg them, convince them to put you on the air. But as soon as YouTube became popular, anybody could have a show. Podcasting became popular. Anybody could be on the radio, could have a bigger audience than any radio station. And I thought that was really good, but we've seen so many bad effects. But it isn't the democratization that's the problem. It's that some people get sucked into the presentational aspect of it, right? How do I look? How many followers do I have? And that's destructive.
Well, actually, to that end, one thing is, like, I think Jonathan Haidt treats a lot of old phenomena as new. It's like conceit of the present, as George Will says a lot. I know it's weird to be here quoting George Will.
I really like George Will. George Will is fine. I wish more conservatives were like George Will, to be honest with you.
I do too, honestly.
He's an old school guy.
But I think Haidt is just too pessimistic about everything. And also, like, I think your point about appearances is right. But I think one thing that it's easy to forget is that, like, keeping up with the Joneses was a thing. So for a while, unless you wore pastels all the time or suits or, you looked exactly like everyone else in every way, down to even race, then you didn't really have much of a place in society. And now everyone has a place, but you still always have that same instinct to keep up with the Joneses in one way or another. So in my view, I think it's more of a continuation of that. Also, not to be obnoxious, but I don't trust a lot of Haidt's science because a lot of people have been questioning the correlation causation thing.
Exactly.
And his responses haven't been that great.
No. No.
There's another side to this.
Yes.
So I understand the keeping up with the Joneses phenomenon. That's time immemorial, been happening through every society on the planet. However, especially in social media and new media technologies that started with, say, YouTube, MySpace, those years, there is a cachet that comes with being disruptive. The tech bros love saying that they are disruptive. And that's what things like social media, like YouTube did. They disrupted large industries and they democratized access to those venues. However, as you grow, and every influencer is going to find this, you move from being disruptive to being establishment. And it's jarring when that happens. I've seen this happen in a class of YouTube videos that I've really enjoyed the last couple of months on van life. There's some really good van life bloggers, but the ones who tend to be more honest about their experiences are now de rigueur. It used to be van life was all about showing the fabulous places that you go and the wonderful things that you do. And then people started seeing that too much and that became establishment. And now the disruptive thing to say is, well, I do van life, but it's terrible. And then there'll be another thing and another thing. So it just keeps evolving into the next thing that you have to disrupt.
That's interesting. Last night, I did something that I didn't really enjoy, but I will share it with you anyway. It was the 4th of May, right? So we went to a local community theater for a Star Wars burlesque show. May the 4th be with you. Great combination,
goodness.
right?
I'm sorry. Can we pause? Star Wars burlesque.
Burlesque. So it was, but you made me think, because it was a bunch of performers, some of whom had only done their act. This is the first time they ever did it. There was a magician who obviously was really still learning the tricks. There was
dressed as Darth Vader?
I don't know what it had to do. Here? Yeah, I guess she was dressed as Darth Vader. I don't know really what it had to do with Star Wars. There was a woman who sang a song. There was there was a woman who sang a song about the Star Wars holiday special. Yeah. There was a guy who did a comedy act, a celebration of the life of Princess Leia. So it was really it was very hit or miss, right? It was amateur hour. It was like an amateur show. Yeah, and at first, well, that's what happened to me. At first I thought, this is terrible. And I realized, because we are surrounded with really very professional, polished media, we kind of are used to super high quality media. But until this was all ubiquitous, maybe in the last 50 years or 70 years, this is how people entertained themselves, right?
Yep.
Grandpa knew how to play the guitar, so you'd sit around, sing a song, or maybe you'd go to a hoedown and somebody would tell some joke. It was acceptable because it was your neighbors. You didn't expect them to be, Johnny Carson or Seinfeld. They were just, your neighbors. And I thought, we've kind of lost something. Because of this level of professionalism, we're surrounded with professional media. We've lost that. And so in a way, that's what the opportunity is on YouTube, is to be more human. And maybe we need to be, as consumers, more forgiving and celebrate each other. I don't know. What do you think, Georgia? I'm
with you, actually. I like the fact that, I don't know how long I would last at a show if I'm not enjoying it.
We left it intermission.
So, there still has to be. But I do like the fact that it gives other people permission to try something. When you see someone really talented at something, you're like, I'm never going to do this because they're just so much better than me. But if you see someone trying something and they're horrible at it, you're like, oh, wait a second, I have a shot. I can do this because I can do better. And they are up there doing this and bombing. I can go up there and bomb as well. And that's going to be okay.
Even more, you celebrate that
allows people to
They got up there,
to
right?
try things, to risk it, to be bad at something. I think this thought of always having to be perfect and be good at things is just so very ridiculous and sad. Just go out there and do poorly because maybe you'll get better. The only reason we need to learn something is because we're not good at it. And the only way that we learn is by failing and then trying it again and going through it. And often we only see the pretty curated parts on YouTube, and everything else when we're screwing up and saying something ridiculous is kind of edited out. So we sound all, wonderful and educated. But it's the other parts that I think are much more human and much more interesting, is when someone screws up but still continues. And I think that that's kind of the lesson that we need to also be showing. And I think that people are getting sick of seeing everything. Everyone is airbrushed and they don't have pores, and everyone looks beautiful and they speak perfectly and they hit it on the first shot. I don't know. I like the idea of having a more gritty, honest, and people are horrible at things and failing at it and still trying to do it and trying to get better at it and enjoying the process instead of it having to be amazing. And
as an audience, let's celebrate people who have the boldness, the guts to get up on there and to entertain us, even if they're not perfect. In fact, that's what the MC said. He said, look, just show your appreciation. These guys are putting themselves
your expectations
out there. And just show your appreciation. I think it was a nice lesson in this day of hyper polished performances.
I did open mic at a laugh club in Chicago when I was living there back in the late 90s. And it did not go well. Audience let me know that it did not go well. And I realized that it was a good experience for me because I realized I'm not funny. I'm not stand-up funny. That's
what though? The wonderful thing of that is that you learned, at least by doing it, that you won't regret the thought that you never did it, right? Because if not, we have this idea in our head. Oh my God, I could have been the best comedian. Chris Rock, he's nothing. I could have been so much better. So at least now you know.
I should also point out
that I'm not Chris Rock. Yeah.
That Chris Rock was terrible when he first got up. That every comic who starts is awful. And they get better by doing it. And so somebody has to go there and sit through their first performances and support them. I know this because a family member is trying to be a stand-up. And the first attribute if somebody wants to get in stand-up comedy the primary attribute is the willingness to go up there and bomb and then keep doing it. See, Father Robert, you don't know. Maybe you could have gotten, I think, actually knowing you could have been very good. You'd be hysterical.
There's a problem, though, and it loops back into what we were talking about with social media. In the polish that we see in every kind of content that comes out today. And that is, without getting too crazy and ranty, cancel culture is a real problem. If you're trying to do something edgy and you're trying to do something unpolished, because one thing that you say and is captured on the internet can come back to bite you 15, 20 years later. I mean, that's what happened to James Gunn. So
it's true. We need to be a little more forgiving.
I'm not saying, I'm not calling everyone snowflakes and saying, oh, just get over it. But I'm saying if we want to encourage that, that kind of unpolished, disruptive behavior, we have to encourage it. And we have to stop making people afraid that one thing that they say is going to forever destroy their lives.
Shoshana, did you ever try to be a stand-up? I think you could have been.
I think so. I just hide into my work. So when I give presentations, I always give it in stand-up tones, and people really like that.
You're totally a comic.
I really think I could have been good at that. There's a lot of stuff I'm good at, a lot of stuff I'm terrible at. But I think if I really wanted, I could have done it. But I just am sick and love regulatory reform.
Hey, we all got to find our thing, right? And that's really what this is saying is find your thing and don't let anybody stop you. And everybody else be supportive of people who are finding their thing.
It's also the myth of talent, though, Leo.
What is the myth of talent?
Is that people get good at things by practicing.
Oh, yeah. Nobody starts by being good at it. I'm telling you, I haven't seen
Even
Chris
Picasso
Rock's...
was horrible as an artist.
Actually,
and if you don't like
early
the practice
Picasso
part, you don't like the thing.
very, very good,
if you don't like practicing the thing,
No,
you don't
his
like
early ones were horrible.
Were they?
His ones as a child were terrible.
Well, he was a kid. Okay, they were good for a kid.
But the thing is that he did not start off being, and everyone's like, oh, Cubism is horrific. But actually, he was quite talented actually at drawing and also. But like, there's a lot of like you only see the stuff that people decide to put out.
Yes. These are Picasso sketches from when he was 11 and 12 years old. He got good, but he wasn't modern at first. He actually, this is a copy of Toulouse-Lautrec, right? And that's the other thing.
I can't do any of that.
That's the
when they first
part.
start, they copy people. And then you practice, you get better and you develop your style. And we need to make room for that. YouTube, the problem with YouTube is you're practicing in public right from the very first video. You don't,
And it doesn't matter how good you get. When someone inevitably hates you for some reason, they will find a clip from like the very first time you ever did the thing, and they will keep using that to say, oh, see, he's terrible, or he said this, or he said that.
Mm-hmm.
This is when Picasso was 15, he painted that.
You have to get the ones when he was like 6.
Yeah, 7. I'm sure he was terrible when he. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
He was 8. He was 8 when he did this one.
There we go.
Okay.
Wait, did he restore a fresco of?
You see. So this is 13-year-old Pablo Picasso. He's starting to get some skill, right?
The understanding of musculature and shadow. That's just amazing.
Yeah. It starts here. That's the point.
That butts are there. I wasn't expecting butts. I'm not opposed. I just wasn't expecting it.
You should have seen the show I saw last night. You would have really been surprised. All right, let's take a little break. One thing amateurs often do when it's not going well is they yell, right? When they're doing improv and it's not going well, they start yelling or they show their butts. See, either one is kind of a sign that you've lost. You've given up. So we will not yell. And I promise I'm going to keep my pants on. Our show today brought to you by, all right, I know, I hear the sighs and the, it's, I appreciate that. Our show today is brought to you by Stamps.com. Love these guys. They've been with us since 2012. We've been using them since even before them. When you're making decisions for your company, you're always looking for no-brainers, right? Something easy. Do the easy stuff. Stamps.com is the easy stuff. It streamlines your mailing and shipping processes. It makes your business more efficient because it's like having a post office in your pocket or on your desk. All you need is a computer and a printer. You could schedule a package pickup through your dashboard. You can mail checks, invoices, everything you need to keep your business running. I love it because I never run out of stamps. I just go to Debbie. I said, print me some stamps. Those are legal U.S. stamps. She prints it up on our printer. Connect with every major marketplace and shopping cart. If you sell online, it's great for Etsy, Amazon, eBay sellers. Stamps.com also saves you money big time. The best discounts in the industry, up to 89%. 89% off the U.S. Postal Service, or they also do UPS. And I have to say, these are discounts you can't even get at the post office. They automatically tell you the cheapest and fastest shipping options, so you save money that way. And you get a scale, a USB scale with Stamps.com in our trial offer. That means you always have exactly the right postage, not too little, not too much. Stamps.com's been a partner of the show, as I said, since 2012. You've probably heard me talking about it for years. What are you waiting for? Make the same no-brainer decision as over 1 million other businesses. Yes, 1 million other businesses with Stamps.com. Sign up with the promo code TWIT. You'll get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, free postage, and that free digital scale I was talking about. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter the code TWIT. Stamps.com, click that microphone, offer code TWIT. Ladies and gentlemen, you may remember the late lamented Choco Taco from Good Humor and Breyers. Sad loss. It was invented in 1983 for the Jack and Jill Ice Cream Company, rolled out in 1984. You probably got one from one of those ice cream trucks that went around town. Good Humor started making it, put it in the supermarkets. America's coolest taco. Well, sad to say, in 2022, Unilever, the owner of the brand, Klondike, decided to end the Choco Taco. It was over. People were crying. Alexis Ohanian, the founder of Reddit, even offered to buy the rights so he could continue to make it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to the good folks just down the road at the Cold Stone Creamery, the Choco Taco. The Choco, well, don't get your hopes up, because this Choco Taco is gone after. Is today the last day? Yes. So I'm really teasing you. But they decided for 1 week only in honor of Cinco de Mayo. That is a perfect Choco Taco.
No, not that one. This one's better.
Now, what do you say that one's better? Aren't they all the same? Aren't they mass-produced?
They're all handmade.
No, these are handmade. All right, we're going to have...
I appreciate the Choco Taco, but claiming that it's somehow appropriate on Cinco de Mayo...
Well, it's a taco. Get it?
But...
Get it?
What is it?
It's a taco.
What is it?
They have to find a day. Give them a little bit. They have to find a day.
Oh, that's
the closest they can. What is a Choco Taco? I'm sorry.
It's basically ice cream inside of a Belgian waffle taco. It's actually quite good.
Oh, that sounds nice. It's like those little cone.
You poor Canadians, you don't have them, do you?
I've never, ever even heard of it.
How?
Do you have ice cream?
Canadians would probably pour gravy on it and call it a poutine taco or something.
Right, with little cheese bits.
That's really good.
So it's no surprise that Klondike killed it, though, because Klondike just makes terrible business decisions. Like, who does anything for a Klondike bar? Like, nobody. Like, they need to move on.
But you remember the marketing slogan. I mean, everyone remembers
never
it, even though I hate
But you don't eat a Klondike. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
They're terrible. They're
Cars for kids. I'm not going to give my car to those kids, but I know the jingle.
But you know the jingle.
They're good at jingles.
Klondike is made so much hay out of this that it's actually in their Twitter bio. R.I.P. Choco Taco.
Oh, my gosh.
They got more attention for
They just
killing
did
a
that so
product.
they can bring it back in a year or two.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, they just killed it so they can bring it back and
They
do the
can
whole
resurrect it
nostalgia
later. It's like a
memorial tour.
superhero.
Yeah.
They'll come back.
It's like the McRib.
Although,
right?
Unilever owns Klondike. Aren't they
Yes.
the soap company?
Yes. Unilever owns
Okay, maybe that's the
everything.
first problem. It's
Well, like 5 companies own everything.
if you make soap,
Yeah.
you should also not make food. How about
Yeah.
that? Let's make that a rule.
At least their hands should be clean.
You want to know what brands? What they have 30 brands. You want to know what brands?
Oh my God.
Hellman's
Yeah, I definitely want
mayonnaise.
to know.
Ben & Jerry's is owned by Unilever. Comfort,
Ben & Jerry's?
Comfort, which is I think
No.
detergent.
Yeah.
something called Domestos, which is supposed to win the war against unsafe sanitation and poor hygiene. Dove.
I don't want to know what that is.
Hellman's, Knorr, the soup company. Magnum. I don't know what that is. Lux, Lifebuoy soap. I think a lot of these are European.
Oh, Magnum's
brands.
good. Magnum makes some good ice cream.
That's that dark chocolate stuff, right?
Yeah.
Cornetto.
Right.
Look at all this stuff. You know,
Cornetto.
yeah. What? Basically, somebody in the Discord said it. 5 companies own everything, basically.
Yeah.
Pepsodent,
True.
Pond's, Paula's Choice Skincare. Paula's been gone for years. There's no Paula.
Wait,
Paula's
but
Choice
okay,
is good,
who
though.
owns Unilever?
Oh, okay.
Is Unilever a wholly owned?
No, I think
That's
Unilever.
I have a little chart here. There.
Oh my God!
Oh my God.
Jeez.
All
I
the
love it.
Unilever's on the top.
Terrifying
This is from
charts.
Business
Okay,
Insider.
so Unilever's top tier. Unilever's top tier. Okay, got that. That's cool.
They just have a terrible name.
Now, do this map, but for who owns all the media companies in the United States.
Oh, it
and
looks the
that's
same.
even
It
more
looks the
depressing.
Even more terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, so I could talk to Governor Doug Ducey, the former Arizona governor, because he used to head Cold Stone. And I could be
Did
like,
he?
hey, next time,
Oh.
next time you're there, because he's never brought me ice cream, and I've noticed. But I wonder if like I could be like,
And I've noticed.
why not keep the Choco Taco? Like I feel like all these years of knowing him and him never bringing me ice cream, I could like trade that in for
No
a Choco
kidding.
Taco favor.
No kidding.
Although I'm betting Cold Stone's Choco Taco is way better than
It's
the actual
actually
Choco
quite-
Taco.
Totally.
The verdict
Yeah.
is in. It's good, right, John Ashley? It's good, right, Burke? Burke says it's really good. Benito, have you had your Choco Taco yet?
I have not.
But I mean, it's because Cold Stone made it fresh versus it's been frozen and packaged
You know what
for
else?
the last 6 months.
You know what else Unilever owns? The Dollar Shave Club.
What?
So they just buy up everything.
They bought everything. And actually, okay, Dollar Shave Club had some absolutely brilliant advertising.
Yeah, back
Yeah.
when they were
We can all
a
agree on that,
startup.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what we've learned here. Something.
Something about AI, Choco Taco.
I want to get back to AI because I think that it is inevitable that there will be AI priests. There are already AI psychotherapists. What do you think of AI psychotherapy? I mean,
If you're going to do it for something that is very straightforward and direct, like how to treat a phobia.
Rogerian psychotherapy, which is what Eliza was supposed to be, is a Rogerian, because it just goes, well, tell me more about that.
Well, yeah, if you're just going to ask a question and not actually trying to get anywhere, I think that that's fine, and I think that that's very effective. I think that where it can go wrong and when we're dealing with deep-seated childhood issues, where even being said one thing in the wrong tone can come off very badly. And tonality with AI is really horrible. The feeling of empathy, the emphasis where you should place it, all of the things that have to do with a personal relationship similar to the priest, the AI priest, missing those pieces can cause a lot of damage. And plus, when you're dealing with this, one bad set of advice, like it's kind of funny to say, well, you can, dip the baby in Gatorade, but it is, maybe that's not that funny now that I say it.
No, it's funny. It's funny.
It's funny. Yeah, I like it. I like
It's
it.
cool.
Make sure you bring the baby back out after. Sorry. But like
Well,
saying
you don't
one
submerge
bad
it,
advice.
do you?
It depends. Some people do. Some people it's a full bath, right?
Baptists
Like you're doing it
submerge
right
it.
in the river.
Yeah.
Okay,
bath
so
or a river
the parish
sometimes.
I worked at when I was in San Jose called Most Holy Trinity, it wasn't a jacuzzi, but it looked like a jacuzzi. And yes, there was full submersion.
It was full submersion. What can I ask a question? Just neither here nor there. But like, what's up with the outfits? They're kind of see-through. Why is that?
So as you are brought into the church, the white outfit is supposed to represent purity of coming into a new community.
But you could wear
The reason why
underwear,
they're
couldn't you?
see-through- You could, but the reason why they're see-through is because people are cheap. That's just no other reason. There's no other reason.
Okay. Because every time I'm like, wait a second here. That is quite thin linen. I'm just
You
saying.
don't have to wear a napkin. You can wear something thicker, but people don't want to buy those things, so that's why they're see-through.
Do they? They don't give them to you. You have to buy it and then you keep it.
No, but by them, I mean us.
Okay.
We're cheap. We bought the
So you
cheap
want a
things.
diocese that buys heavy Muslim baptismal robes as opposed to the cheap.
Or you have to wear a
linen.
onesie underneath it, is my thought.
No, see, actually, we tried that. You also can't do that
because they'll sink.
They'll absorb so much water that by the time you get to like the sixth person, there's no water left in the font. It's all in the clothes as they've walked out.
It's all like a giant sponge. They get out, and the whole sacristy is just soaking wet.
It's just soaked, right?
Never thought of that.
Sorry, you had asked me a question about the AI.
So you want some that's
Wait,
like
what were we talking
Teflon,
about?
so the water runs off of it a little bit. Anyway,
and then people can catch it, and so I think that in a lot of cases you can use it for very simplistic methods of getting treatment.
It's risky,
diagnosis,
though. It's a
questions.
big point.
It's a huge risk. Is if it
Yeah.
goes wrong, it can go very wrong, and they'll tell you, oh, well, like, how do you assess if someone's actually suicidal? Like, they'll be like, oh, if you say this word, it'll give you the numbers. That is not good
That's
enough.
not it.
When
No.
you're dealing with someone that is in a
No.
very serious situation, you want to be able to kind of assess by looking at them and seeing and hearing their reaction of, I need to call someone. This has gone too far.
Yeah.
And so those are the issues that you have with things that you kind of need a personal interact. And like you want someone else that, like, the thing is, we dismiss a lot of things that happen from like a computer as they just have to say that. But when you're talking to a person where you have a trust, it's a different interaction, and that attachment is a really huge cursor to, is someone going to get better or they aren't. If you like your therapist and you feel safe, there's a greater chance that you're going to do the things that you have to do and you'll actually get better.
let me propose.
You know where AI would actually really work well for therapy? Post-appointment. So like the device that you got that will record conversations. If you had an AI that could listen into the conversation and then provide you with its own analysis of what was happening after the appointment, so that you as a therapist could read that and put that into your notes and add it to your next session, that I think actually would be interesting. I'd love to see something like that.
I would love if it took my notes for me, if we're really going to talk
that
about
too.
things that could be helpful. But I think also those reminders would be great for AI. So journaling apps, things that remind you to be able to do the things you have. They have ones for OCD to stop you from going through the rituals and repeat, so that it kind of reminds you, don't do this. This is what you should do. Remember your techniques. Because when you're really anxious or nervous, you forget. Like, you have all of the things, you're in therapy and it's like, whatever, 50 minutes. You're like, yeah, I'm going to remember everything. And then suddenly you leave and it's like, I don't even remember one of the words that were said. So to have that to be able to remind you to do the homework would be great. And I think that would help people get better faster also.
I'm going to propose Leo's Law with AI. See if this sounds good to you. We're talking a lot about AI and the dangers of AI and the threats of AI. Almost universally, I think AI is dangerous when unattended. Like an AI therapist by itself is dangerous. AI weapons acting completely autonomously seems like a bad idea. Even an AI artist or an AI musician, unattended, that's when you get in trouble. But I think we're seeing that AI is valuable, can be useful when used in conjunction with a human with judgment. There's some value to it. Does that completely eliminate the danger?
Being taught? I don't think it eliminates it, because it's hard to oversee that much information at a time. But I think that would be helpful. But also, what is the information being used to teach the AI how to do things? So if they're using just the internet, there are a whole bunch of things that are not actual studies that they could use, because they think that whatever,
they don't know better.
Submerging someone and locking them in a dark room will help them get over their fear or phobia. It will.
Right.
It will. But they will be traumatized in other ways of trust and other things to be able to do that. They may not be scared of the dark by the end, or they're terrified of it. But so what is teaching the AI? A lot of the times that we watch AI that's kind of gone bad, it's because it's using the internet. And as we all know, the internet is not always a pretty happy place.
Well, I mean, that's the excuse I use for AI hallucinations, which is that the AI is trained on everything. Just as the internet is everything, and it just as in the real world, there's good and bad. Do you really want a human to decide this is good, this is bad, you get trained on this and you don't get trained on that?
And isn't that what we do all the time? Like, that's what a school for learning how, like, you could say, oh, well, we don't want humans to do this, but humans are already teaching the machines in the first place. Machines can't do it on their own because they would end up figuring out that we're the bad thing and wiping us out.
No.
We have to invest in magnets. It becomes very expensive.
That's not true.
So,
actually, I'll give you a good example. Google developed, Dennis CB developed something called AlphaGo, and AlphaMind and Deep Blue was the originator of this, but Alpha taught itself chess in a day. All the human did was give it the rules and said, those are the rules, optimize. That was it. And the chess playing computer, by playing itself billions and billions of games in a matter of a day, became the best chess playing computer of all time. They did the same thing with AlphaGo. I think that's an example of the human would just get in the way. But
that's a very simple algorithm.
Maybe that's too simple.
Like, there's a set of rules. There aren't many outlier rules to it.
I just don't want humans to teach the computer what the rules are, because humans are flawed.
We are, but when we deal with something like therapy, like there are certain things that actually work, and there's certain things that are out there. If the computer, like, it's trial and error to get to being a very good therapist, could be a whole bunch of people dying along the way because it was like, oh, well, you might as well just.
Well, I should point out.
Right, that does seem really horrible. I get why you would feel that way. Maybe you should just do what you were thinking to do.
There are bad therapists, right?
Don't know.
Out there are bad therapists.
There are definitely bad therapists.
Who can do that same damage. They're
Absolutely.
quite,
And there's an oversight committee. We have checks and balances for humans. They're not perfect either. And they're, unfortunately, with therapy, it's kind of this closed system. You don't see how someone is inside a therapy office. Like, I guess, like, for me, you could check out my YouTube channel. It's kind of what I'm like not with the outfits, in a session, so you can get my personality. But you can't really do that usually with therapy. It's a closed system. So that's also an issue. But there's oversight committees. There's people that are looking over it. There's training. The training has already been vetted. Now, again, does that mean that it's a perfect system? It isn't, but it works so far. And so for a computer to be able to get to that point, who is the fallout to that?
You just made a case for occupational licensing, Shoshana. Shoshana has... You don't hate all occupational licensing, right?
No. The only thing is that, and I've seen this across professions, from physicians to, weirdly enough, cosmetologists. Just basically, like, there's more barriers to entry than there are people checking up on people. So, like, a lot of awful lawyers get to stay lawyers because they're like, well, we protect our own and, like, whatever. And, like, this isn't that bad. So it's, like, really hard to become debarred. And same for medicine. And for cosmetology, a couple of studies have shown that, like, 30% of, not salons, but foot baths within salons, so 30% of those have bacteria that they're not legally allowed to have. But health inspections don't happen that often, and when they do, they don't happen very, like, invasively. So lots of bad salons get to keep operating. No one tells them, hey, make sure this is actually clean and stuff. So it's funny, I have a couple of problems with licensing broadly. Not that all of it shouldn't exist, but, like, even where it's a good idea, sometimes oversight is done really crappy. But with therapy, I'm not even sure what the right way to do it would be. Like, I'm not sure if you can really have people, like, sit in with a therapist and be like, oh, is this a good therapist or not? Like, I'm not sure if that would even be representative.
Well, there are some counterexamples. The DSM, which is the diagnostic manual used certainly in hospitals and psychiatry, and I know you're very familiar with the DSM, Georgia, until very recently didn't even recognize PTSD.
Really?
Yeah. This is actually a great book, which I'm sure you've read, The Body Keeps the Score. Georgia, have you read that? Oh, wonderful book. Highly recommend it. It's about PTSD and treatments and so forth. And he, for a long time, tried to get PTSD into the DSM. And because the DSM, which is the diagnostic manual used universally, but there are also, as with everything, there are some people with some interests involved, really pushed back on the notion of a number of things. For instance, on the notion of, he talks about it in the book, child abuse. They thought it was a very, very, very tiny percentage of children had experienced child abuse. And of course, that's completely wrong. We know that now. So there's somebody, a gatekeeper who is widely trusted, but that could be real damaging. We haven't proved anything except that humans are as screwed up as AI.
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution is to all of this. Yeah, if you haven't read the book, Georgia, wonderful book, Bessel van der Kolk. He's a psychiatrist, and it's really about PTSD. It's about trauma, and it's a really wonderful book on trauma. I highly recommend it. Came out about 8 or 9 years ago.
I do have a lot of hope for AI in medicine, though, because I have a lot of weird stuff that like nobody even knew existed until 5-10 years ago. Like histamine intolerance sounds fake. Like it sounds like the people who think they have gluten sensitivities and they don't, but they like really want to have gluten sensitivities. But it's funny because I was watching an old movie recently and they made a reference to it that I like 100 years before this had a name. This character was like, I can't have tea. My doctor says I shouldn't have it. He says it's like poison to some people, but only to some people. And tea is notoriously high in histamine. And like that's basically the only group of people who really, really can't have tea aside from like caffeine sides of it and stuff. But I thought that was interesting that there was some understanding of it back then. But doctors have only very recently understood that this exists and the depth of it. I have I'm so excited for AI to dive in here. I definitely don't think it can be by itself, but I think AI is going to find stuff and correlations and possibly then causations that we haven't figured out yet, even that I haven't figured out yet for my own body. So I'm pumped for that.
I think that's a good example of what I was just talking about, the human-machine interface, because we use doctors for two things right now. We use them for diagnosticians, which requires a great memory, almost a perfect memory, and a vast knowledge, and maybe is an imperfect tool. But we also use them for treatment and support and a whole bunch of human things. And why should the doctor be required to have a perfect memory if a machine could be very good at diagnostics, but only when used hand in hand in conjunction with a human, right? That seems to me a perfect combination of AI and human.
I mean, that's the thing that AI should be doing, like pattern recognition over large data.
Yes,
exactly. That's what the AI does.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. My doctor, he's amazing. I'm so glad I found him. He's gotten me like half of my diagnoses, and he figured out stuff that I don't. And for a while, I was kind of the only one treating me. But after he showed that my endocrinologist missed that literally all of my hormones were off, and he like dove into it and he was Googling stuff in front of me to explain stuff to me and make sure I understood all of the concepts. Like that's the best doctor. But I just want everyone to have a doctor like that who can figure out the weird stuff they have if they have weird stuff. And then I get to see the other side because he referred me to get a mammogram because I had asked him about it. And I'm like, what do you think? Like, my hormones are off. I have all these risk factors. I'm okay if you say that you don't think it's worth it, but I want to see your opinion. So he recommended I get one. And at when I was getting the mammogram, every person I interacted with there was like, oh, you're too young. Why are you getting this? You're just clogging up the system. I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks so much. Like, appreciate it. Like, but he's just the gold standard, and I just wish everyone could have a doctor like him.
Yeah, I agree. I am very, very bullish on AI. I understand the problems. You probably don't want an AI priest or a psychotherapist, but there are some real valuable things AI can do, and I think really a lot of the task is for us humans to understand what AI is capable of, and I do want to see continued improvement and development on AI. I don't know if AI will become conscious. I doubt it will, but
we wouldn't know otherwise. We wouldn't know.
How would we know? I want him to try. Let's just put it that way. I just want him to try. Maybe I read too much science fiction in my youth. All right, let's take a break. We will have other stories to talk about. Somebody's saying, get back to the tech. Yeah, I guess we should get back to the tech. But first, a word from our sponsor. Our show today. By the way, great to have you all. Georgia Dow, representing the psychotherapists in the community, but also a fabulous YouTuber. She's an influencer too at youtube.com/Georgia Dow. Can I say at Georgia Dow? Does that work on YouTube now?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Therapist Reacts. Really, really fun stuff. I'm really glad you're getting traction because I love what you do. And I think can't wait to see the Walt Goggins. That's going to be something. Did I show you the Onion story about Walt Goggins yet? I'll save that for when we come back. How about that? I'll just give you the headline. Women explain why they're attracted to the ghoul.
Huh. Okay.
It's The Onion, okay? Also with us, Shoshana Weissmann. She is not only chairman of the Sloth Committee, she's head of digital media at ourstreet.org, specializing in social media and occupational licensing, and it's always great. And her sloth, always great to have her and her sloth with us. Great to see you, Shoshana. And Father Robert Ballecer, he's cool, the digital Jesuit. If you have lasers under those Ray-Bans, are those the Meta Ray-Bans?
These are the same ones that were used to make the little icon of me in Discord.
Oh, yeah. We have a great icon with lasers in the Discord. Father Robert Ballecer, the digital Jesuit at Padre SJ. Our show today brought to you by Collide with a K. You've heard us talk about Collide before, I'm sure, but good news, Collide was just acquired by 1Password. Now, that's a pretty big deal because both companies lead the industry in creating security solutions that put users first. It's really a match made in heaven. For over a year, Collide Device Trust has helped companies with Okta solve the second part of the equation. The Okta assures that the person is the person they say they are, but Collide makes sure that all the devices they're bringing in are also secure. And that's what they're still doing as part of 1Password. So if you use Okta at your company and you've been meaning to check out Collide, this would be a great time. Collide's easy to get started with. It comes with a library of pre-built device posture checks, kind of the stuff everybody would want. But you can also write your own custom checks for just about anything you can think of to make sure that those devices are secured, safe, locked down. Because after all, a human can come in with an unsecured device and you've got problems. So Collide kind of buttons that part up. And I love this. You can use Collide even on devices without MDM. Like your Linux fleet, like your contractor devices, like every BYOD phone and laptop in your company. And now that Collide's part of 1Password, they've even got more resources. It's only going to get better. Check it out at KOLIDE, collide.com/twit. Secure every sign-in for every app on every device. Learn more. Watch the demo today. KOLIDE, collide.com/twit. We thank them so much for their support of This Week in Tech. By the way, The Onion was just bought by the guy who founded Twilio. So I'm hoping that this means that The Onion will get to continue on in its mission. This is obviously silly. There's Walt Goggins, the ghoulish character he plays. He's and the character you're going to play soon, Georgia Dow, on Fallout.
I am.
Yeah.
Look at that bandolier. That bandolier is spot on.
It's exactly. You really did it right.
Oh, no. I like, here we go. We got two.
It's exactly
I even,
right.
Counted how many,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it.
How are you going to do the missing nose bit?
You know what? I've just gone through that. I'm not going to do the face.
Okay.
I just, I go so far. I'll do the ears. But I'm not going to have a full painted face.
That's fair.
There's a point where I still have to be kind of professional.
Right.
As a therapist. So I'm I'll do teeth.
Yeah.
I'll do fangs because I like fangs. But missing nose, I think I'm going to keep my nose.
I know how you feel.
I like my nose.
I don't really want to go to a therapist with no nose. That's just kind of off-putting.
It could be disconcerting. So I'm sure some people will complain, but that's okay.
Running The Onion, women are attracted to the ghoul because he looks like he has low standards. I have a thing for men in advanced stages of physical deterioration.
Oh, I feel attacked.
He reminds me of a young Ronald Reagan. Lonely. Oh, like you've never wanted to do a sentient corpse? He may be a quasi-deceased bounty hunter, but at least he has a steady job.
Hey, that's a valid point.
Saying I'm attracted to the ghoul is a good way to annoy my boyfriend enough to turn off the show and let me watch whenever I want. I feel like I could fix him. All right, enough of that. I said I'd get back to tech. We got tech. Here is a reason you don't want you put your finger in the Tesla frunk on the Cybertruck. This is when a YouTuber has just gone too far.
Right now, it's not very safe. Ouchie. Tesla did some software magic where the resistance is tweaked, and it won't do this anymore.
It chopped off the carrot. literally
Well, let's
chopped
find
off the
out in
carrot.
just a second. But first, this is the control of the experiment. This is before the software update. It is destroying everything. Just like that.
I mean,
Cybertruck
yeah,
is
it's a
updated and
guillotine.
it should not be crushing any bananas.
Oh, look. It bounced right back. Didn't even hurt the banana.
So impressed. If it doesn't damage this, I'll be very impressed.
There's a cucumber, one of those English cucumbers.
Very long, but very delicate.
Oh, look at that. Tesla's fixed the Cybertruck.
Means that's actually
Or
insane.
has
Now, the
it?
carrot, I'm going to put like the tiniest tip in there.
The guy put, whoops.
I mean, okay.
That's
So at
your
this point,
lesson,
you're
not
saying,
to put your finger in there, buddy. Whatever you do, don't, no.
It put some pressure. Finger is still at risk. They have some work to do.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm not going to show you because you don't want to see it.
Oh, you got to see it. No, we have to see
No,
it.
really?
Without further
Oh. Should I show it, really?
Yeah, you should show it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I
You
want
got
to
to
see.
show it.
Okay.
way less. Y'all, I'm letting the intrusive thoughts win today.
Couldn't do it.
You don't know how bad it hurt the first
No,
time.
no, no, he does it. He does it.
Again. Let's do this again.
Oh, you have to be so committed to your
We're gonna
YouTube.
just have to trust the bananas.
Who is
The
this
way
guy?
it's
You have to show. You have to show the
designed
finger
to see a
part.
bag
You have
is
to
in
show the
way,
finger part.
It will
No,
then
I think he
apply
blurred
more
it out.
pressure the next time to close it.
Oh, Business
My bad,
Insider
in
blurred it out.
fact,
The actual
was
YouTube
in the
video
way
doesn't
and
have
still
it.
closed the first
Blurred
Yeah,
it out.
his video
I
doesn't
personally
have any
think the
blurring.
All
algorithm
right. Let's do it.
I feared for
You
my
got to find the right one.
Oh, he got his
I
finger.
just.
It's kind of stuck. Okay, close your eyes,
I mean,
everybody.
at this point, I'm not blaming Tesla for this.
No, this is
entirely on him.
stupid.
I blame them both. I blame them both.
But you know
I
what?
have enough
This
blame
is
to go
this-
around.
You know what? This
That's
guy
kinda
did
bad,
this
and you can
because
see
he
my
wants
finger
the
is-
hits. Jeremy Judkins is his name, and
But it's so interesting the way his body wouldn't let him, even though he tried to do it again, that
Yeah.
it just override. And it's interesting because when we touch something like a hot stove or something else, it doesn't go to our brain. It kind of goes to our spinal cord and then back. So it's a much faster signal. And so your hand will pop off before you even have thought about it. And so it's kind of interesting that he has this override that he
had to
cannot
force
do,
it.
even though he thinks that.
he had to force it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because his body.
He has
wanted-
created a new autonomic response
that's
very nice.
to his stupidity.
So that just shows
But
you desire
it's not
for.
by the regulatory authorities. I'm just saying
Well,
the
that's a good
regulators
point.
failed again.
Good news is how many hundreds is they sold? They haven't sold a whole lot of Cybertrucks. I think it was
But
900.
it could save other people
I mean, I
from
think
thinking they could do
most-
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people understand that putting your hand into any sort of door is a bad idea. So
Why?
But there should be
partially
a
on the regulators,
fail-safe.
but-
There's supposed to be a fail-safe so this
It's
does not
kids.
happen.
It's
because,
kids. You know.
You know, well, let's be honest, not just kids. We like to say that so that we feel better.
Who
It's
hasn't?
for the kids?
Seriously, who hasn't accidentally slammed their finger in a door? I mean, that happens all the time.
I had my fingers slammed in door just recently.
Yeah. No, it happens.
I know
I've
it was
never
my
done it on
fault, but-
purpose.
I had a Model X that my wife called Christine because the sensors, you know, have the gull wing doors. The
remember.
sensors
Yeah.
would hit her in the head every time. So I had to yell, "Doors closing, stand clear," every time. Because it would hit her because there were I guess there weren't sensors to get it. So
It's a blind spot.
it's something I think Elon has struggled with since the Model X. Anyway, Elon, as you may remember, a few years ago, tweeted funding secured. This was in August 2018 to take Tesla private, sending shares of the stock surging. Well, it turns out they really weren't. And he didn't. In fact, it hasn't gone private, has it? And the SEC went after him. The following month, they sued. 2 days later, settled with the FCC. I'm sorry, SEC, agreeing to resign as Tesla chairman. How did that work out? I think he's still there. And pay $20 million as part of the deal. Then in 2021, he tweeted, "Should I sell 10% of my stock?" By the way, when this happens, the stock goes up, Elon gets richer and could, in fact, cash in. SEC, this is why the Securities and Exchange Commission gets involved. They then sent subpoenas to Musk and Tesla and said, look, he apparently had agreed not only to pay $20 million, but to have a lawyer review all his tweets before he went out. A federal appeals court rejected his appeal last year. So he appealed to the United States Supreme Court, saying, "I don't want to pay. I don't want anybody to say I have to get my tweets approved." And so he went to the Supreme Court, which has now said no. They declined to review. So he is in fact bound to get a lawyer to review his tweets. I can't imagine.
I'm actually surprised about that, because that's actually kind of a high level for First Amendment stuff. Even if they limited it to like tweets about Tesla or something, like that would be narrower than just review all his tweets, you know?
That's exactly what his lawyer said. It's prior restraint, right?
It's about Tesla.
Yeah. Oh, if it's only Tesla, then I can.
It's only Tesla. So if he tweets about Tesla, it has to be reviewed by counsel before he actually tweets it out. And that's just because they let him off light for market manipulation. I mean, that's not just a fine. The level of manipulation that he did, especially with the 420 tweet, that passes into criminal liability.
Yeah.
So the SEC also
didn't ding him for that.
Argued that there is ample precedent. The court has consistently held that, this is interesting, in resolving litigation, parties may choose to waive even fundamental constitutional rights. In other words, you can say, look, okay, I give in, you win, let's resolve this litigation. I agree to have a lawyer review my tweets, even though you and I would be protected, Shoshana, that violates our First Amendment rights. The court apparently has always held that you could do that. You can waive your fundamental constitutional rights in resolving litigation. In any event, the Supreme Court has concurred and has decided not to review it without comment. So there you go.
That's basically it. It's over. He has got nowhere else to go for this. Yep. He's forever, the owner of Twitter is going to have a babysitter anytime he wants to tweet about his other companies. So.
I like a Twitter babysitter. The FCC has done some good here. I don't know. Well, again, we'll let Shoshana. I will let Justice Shoshana rule on this. The SEC, or rather the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, has fined AT&T, Sprint. Yes, T-Mobile and Sprint are now joined, but at the time they weren't. T-Mobile and Verizon nearly $200 million. Why? For illegally sharing location data. The company's response to this was, well, here's the thing. This is AT&T spokesperson. The FCC's action lacks both legal and factual merit. It unfairly, Your Honor, holds us responsible for another company's violation of our contractual requirements to obtain consent. In other words, we gave them this information. They were supposed to ask for consent from the end user, and they didn't. And it ignores the immediate steps we took to address that company's failures and perversely punishes us for supporting life-saving location services like emergency medical alerts and roadside assistance that the FCC has previously encouraged. So they're going to appeal after legal review. Verizon said basically the same thing. T-Mobile declined to provide an on-the-record response, says The Verge. The fines are $80 million to T-Mobile, Sprint $12 million, AT&T $57 million, Verizon $47 million. This all started way back when, in 2019, with the now defunct Motherboard. Joseph Cox wrote a story. I gave a bounty, we talked about it when it happened, $300. Then he located our phone because there are brokers out there who will sell this information that they got from the telcos. Any thoughts? Seems to me that fine is insufficient to really make any changes. It's insufficient,
but it's not over, because I think this is the first salvo in taking on data aggregators, which have been bypassing the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Right.
So, anyone who's been following this knows that the government needs a warrant to look at this data. If the government wants to look at your location data, they have to get a warrant to go to a telco and say, we need the location of a phone between this time and this time. That's legal. But what companies like Palantir have been doing, have been buying that information from the telcos and then aggregating it. And then the government can just buy that information from Palantir because they're not the ones violating your civil rights. So for the longest time now, we've had this loop around some basic civil rights in the United States. And I think if there's enough attention drawn to this, maybe people will make noise and say, hey, we need this loophole closed. It doesn't matter if you buy it from an aggregator. If it's information you should not have without a warrant, you should not have it.
So Ron Wyden, if you're following it, I'm not sure if you've seen the bill, but Ron Wyden has a Fourth Amendment is not for sale act, and it's to close this loophole. And I love that. Yeah. I love his approach there, that basically he's saying, hey, buying data doesn't get around a warrant request. Because I know that I kind of get it. There is some ambiguity under the Fourth Amendment here where they're like, oh, well, if you buy it, it's different. I don't really buy that. But if we need a law to shore it up, I'm kind of cool with that. I really like the idea because, while we worry about privacy from companies, and I'm not saying that that's not a problem at all, it's a lot worse when the government's like, hey, here's your entire location history just because we were able to buy it. And then you can be charged for things wrongfully. There's so many real consequences there. But I would love to see that.
We should point out that the Fourth Amendment is not for sale act was proposed 4 years ago. It has slowly wended its way. Good. It did get approved by the House now just a couple of weeks ago. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
The Senate still has to approve. Is that right?
I don't think it's gonna. It's okay though. I'm glad that it's moving at all. It's a good vibe.
It's a step.
They're getting too much use out of aggregators.
That's exactly what I've been saying all along. We're not going to see a comprehensive data privacy bill until the law enforcement community decides to give up lobbying Congress because they use it and they love it. And Congress is not going to say no to law enforcement. Because nobody wants to be the guy when next terrorist attack. In fact, law enforcement has said this explicitly. Do you want us to be the ones to tell the world Ron Wyden made this possible? So,
sounds like extortion to me.
Definitely not during an election year.
Yeah.
They're using the same arguments for outlawing end-to-end encryption. Which I understand. Yeah. I get it. Yes, law enforcement needs tools. They need a way to be able to do their jobs and keep us safe, et cetera, et cetera. But the boogeyman argument just doesn't fly anymore. It can't be, well, now you can have all of our civil rights because you think that there is a possibility that maybe you might be able to protect us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think reasonable people, without screaming at each other, can get into a room and say, these are the things we're willing to allow you to do. These are the safeguards that need to be in place for you to be able to do them. And we have not been willing to do that because right now we are such a polarized society. It is either all on or all off. Either you love security and you love privacy, or you want the government to be Big Brother. And that's just a false dichotomy.
Mm-hmm. And they use that to be able to get what they want. They'll use that to be able to make us feel really upset or to make people look bad. Oh, you're supporting violence against our nation if you're supporting this bill. Like, they go through that so that it makes you look like painted in a really bad picture. And unfortunately, one of the bad things about media is that can then kind of be so pervasive so quickly. And they name all of these bills whatever, Security for Children's Act. And really it's just about like getting rid of a whole bunch of books that they just don't want any of the political ideology in the books are to be able to be banned. And then, but their books that they do like, they're going to have them still be able to get past these laws. So it's one of these things where we use fear in order to be able to control people and to get things done, because people in power want to keep their power. So once they have this power to be able to do something, no one's going to want to say, I want less of it.
Yeah, that's basically the crap I deal with on a daily basis. All these elected officials saying, when it comes to encryption, they say, well, law enforcement needs to be able to break encryption. And then it's like, great, well, we have more identity theft than ever, and it's hurting people, and there's massive losses. Like, that's also a problem. And encryption helps protect people's most sensitive data there too.
I just hate the fact that we treat digital data Oh, that's okay. I just hate that we treat digital information differently than we choose a paper data. Like if you can just break into my phone, but you can't break into my house. So how could you break into my phone? Why wouldn't there be blanket laws that would cover things that are digital exactly the same we would with something that's hard copy? Like that is absolutely ridiculous. Just because my purse is there, you might be able to find information to be able to save someone's life from snooping through my purse, but you still shouldn't be snooping through my purse.
Of course, there's the addendum, which is they're going to say, oh, well, okay, how about this? But law enforcement needs a back door. And
yeah, it's my house. They should have all of the houses to our keys should have a back door should always be unlocked, but just for us. And I'll be like, well, couldn't bad guys then get in also? No, they usually won't do that.
Remember the TSA ridiculous. Locks on our luggage? And then a TSA
that worked really well.
Held out all the keys and they took a photo of. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That never works.
No.
So this has been going on, though, for quite a while. And so far, Congress has failed to do this. In other countries, that's not so clear. In fact, I think in the UK, it's pretty clear encryption is on its way out. The Earn It Act will not die. It's still alive, but it hasn't won yet. This is 4 years ago, this story. Where do we stand, Shoshana? You follow this as well?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. All of the Earn It and variations. I forget if it was Earn It or if it was another bill, but a couple of senators went to the floor to try to fast track. I think it was 2 or 3 bills. And then Ron Wyden hit back at them and was like, guys, what the heck? We can have a reasonable conversation about it. But these haven't even made it, some of them hadn't made it out of committee. They hadn't had real hearings. And after that stuff quieted down. So I'm not sure if something happened or what, but it seems like they understood, we might have messed up here. But it's all of this stuff all the time. There's so many different bills. There's the Kids Online bills. There's Earn It. There's Stop CSAM. And they all sound good on their face until you really look into what they do. And it's like, oh, great, this breaks encryption or disincentivizes encryption or tells companies that you could be liable if you have encryption. It's just awful stuff. Not to mention all the other many problems with the Kids Online bills. There's a lot of energy behind it, but it never seems to move fully, thankfully. Sometimes it'll pass one chamber or the other, but usually it doesn't get any further than that, which is encouraging because these bills are just really, really poorly constructed.
Yeah, here's the latest. The Protect the Kids Online bill, which comes from Brian Schatz and Ted Cruz, signed on Chris Murphy, Katie Britt, Peter Welch, Ted Budd, John Fetterman, Angus King, and Mark Warner, Democrats and Republicans alike. This is the Kids Off Social Media Act, or COSMA. It's, on the one hand, it's encouraging that Congress has passed so few bills. It seems like the chances against any bill are pretty poor. I have to read this one to see it. The legislation, obviously it's problematic to keep kids off addictive social media and help protect them from its harmful effects. Let's see where we go here with this one. Prohibit children under the age of 13 from creating or maintaining social media accounts. I guess, okay. Prohibit social media companies from pushing targeted content using algorithms to users under the age of 17. Problem with both of these is they're going to require age verification. Which means us adults, going to have to do it too.
Yes, and prove it.
Yeah.
So proving it means there goes our anonymity on the internet.
Yeah.
And that means that they can track everything that you're doing to much more detailed than just your IP.
I did a series on it that's 10. So far it's 10 posts. It's going to be 12 soon because I keep having to update stuff. But one of the first thing is on that the technology to do it doesn't exist. It to do it while protecting privacy in any way just does not exist. It's all face scans and government IDs or social security numbers and combinations of those. All the First Amendment violations, all the only First Amendment and anonymity rights violations, all the cybersecurity issues, the data minimization problems, there's just so it's so terrible. And parents have filtering software, and I'm sure it's not perfect in all cases, but it's a lot better than just forcing identity theft, because like when you sign up your kid, you can say, oh, hey, we'll connect our accounts here, done. But if it's a law that says your accounts have to be connected, then you have to upload all your information and make sure it's right there and make sure it's correct, because otherwise the companies will be screwed. And my favorite thing is this applies to GitHub and AllTrails too. Every version I've seen will get GitHub and AllTrails. So your kids can't look at hikes because, oh no, you wouldn't want your kids looking at hikes, and they can't learn code in a community. And I know lawmakers don't intend it to, have it focused there, but that's how these laws are written. And instead of grappling with it, they just keep trying to force it through, and it's just going to hurt a lot of kids.
I actually like these laws. I like these laws because the age verification, there's no way my parents will be able to figure that out. So it will get them off those terrible Facebook.
It'll eliminate them.
Just messing them up. Yeah.
Yeah, but guess who they're going to be calling to help?
That's true.
They're going to be calling constantly.
And that will allow for so many better scams that then you're going to have to keep on top of them, being like, no, this isn't me. This isn't me, I promise. Imagine the depth of scams you can get when you have that stuff, and how much more they're going to be bugging you and me.
You wrote a very good piece last year, which I've quoted before on the show, The Fundamental Problems with Social Media Age Verification Legislation, which is, this is it. Send it to your member of Congress. It's very clear. You have all of the reasons why this is a bad idea.
But they don't, a lot of them don't really care about being about what's right. They care whoever was the biggest lobbyist that they have to be able to support their next campaign. So I think that a lot of times we argue with logic, where this has nothing to do with logic. This has nothing to do with doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. We've created a system that is in a lot of ways corrupt, and they're going to do whatever they have to do to get reared to stay in power.
I like it. Shoshana calls it the coddling of the American parent. We'll do, but that's always the wrong solution. Oh, parents, don't worry. You don't have to do anything. Let us take care of it.
You don't have to parent.
It's always the wrong solution. It's overbroad. It's overreaching. This was in the Daily Beast last week. So, and Mike Masnick. Look at that. Yeah, nice.
I love Mike. He's the best.
Yeah, great. Mike is fantastic.
I understand that there definitely is some corruption going on. There's definitely some influence peddling, but I also think, and this is a problem that we've addressed on this very show many times over the years, there is so little tech savvy in Congress that they honestly don't understand either the problem or what any potential solutions there might be. So for those who are not selling their influence, who are not peddling any favors to anybody, they see a bill that seems to address something that people are talking about. They don't understand the details. They don't understand the technology behind it. And they think they're doing well. They think they're doing a good thing.
That's exactly
and I think it's incumbent upon us to be able to reach out to our representatives and, again, voice. I get what you're not a demon. I know you're not trying to sell out the country, but the thing that you're proposing is wrong for these reasons. Maybe send them Shoshana's article, and this would be a better way to do it. I mean, rather than having them guess what we want to do, why are we not a more active citizenry?
So how do you feel about the Texas age verification law, which the Supreme Court, Justice Alito, refused to offer certiorari, so they're not going to review it. It is now the law of the state that you have to do age verification. I
have no idea how they're going to enforce this. Honestly, it's unenforceable.
No, they get to enforce it however they want is the thing.
Yeah.
They can shut down whatever they choose to and then not shut down other things because they haven't seen it. So it's really just a way that they can make blanket statements of sites that they don't find are appropriate.
So
it's total
because you can't enforce it just in one state.
Now he didn't. All Alito did was reject the request for a stay. So I presume it will still work its way through the courts.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but it is the law right now in Texas that you have to seek age verification. or that you can.
Yeah, there's no stay, no injunction.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I've heard from a lot of people that I need to get into this, and I actually need to take the time to address it. But one big thing is they think that there's just a way to do age verification that's super safe. That like, oh, you can do zero trust age verification. Trust us, it'll be fine. And everyone I talk to who like understands how stuff works is like, oh my gosh, like I can't. And I'm like, I know, but this is what they think. They just think that like, oh, they won't, keep your information more than they have to. They won't share it. It's zero trust. And I'm like, that's not even what zero trust means.
Any of that works. Yeah.
It drives me nuts. I need to dive into this and explain to them bit by bit, like why this can't work. But that's been one of the big arguments that they say will overcome all of my arguments. And I'm like,
do you know how Texas plans to implement it? Are they going to use ID Me, or how are they going to do it? Do they know? Or they just say you have to do it?
I have to
It's
check
up to
the
you to
bill
figure
again.
it out. Yeah.
Usually that's what they say. Usually
Right.
they don't prescribe a specific company. They just say it has to meet certain requirements.
Right.
Sometimes they'll say face scans or IDs, or sometimes they'll say a certain class of technology.
Without actually specifying the technology.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The amount of personal identifying information that is going to be eventually leaked because all of these sites are not going to be properly created to handle personal identifiable information is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Australia just did age verification for nightclubs, and then it had a data breach. Like, good job, morons.
Right
Like,
away.
Hey, at least there's no waiting. You start with it. So, yeah.
I guess we should talk about United Healthcare in a little bit. That's a story when you talk about data breaches, the biggest of all time, I think. Anyway, let's take a break. We're going to come back with more with our great panel, Father Robert Ballecer, the digital Jesuit. I almost called you Dr. Father, but you have like 18 different degrees. I could.
Yeah. I mean, if you add them together, there's probably a doctor there somewhere.
Dr. Father, Master, Dr. Father. Always great to have you. So good to see you. We had him scheduled for last week when Kevin Rose knocked on our door. I said, get out, we got to get Kevin in, and thank you for making room. I appreciate it.
That was an easy call. I mean, come on. I love Kevin.
And I'm thrilled that we could have you here today. It's great to have you. Shoshana Weissmann, chairman of the Sloth Committee. There are many duties as chairman?
No, we try to keep it low. The only thing that my committee oversees is bribes. You have to bribe me $20,000 to do anything.
But you should do it very slowly. No fast moves. Yes. Thank you for being here. You're so cute. That's your cutest sloth. It's almost like it's on your shoulders, giving you a little
Ideally.
slothy. Have you ever met a sloth in person?
Yes, many. I also am an associate fellow for the Sloth Institute, where I do research for them. And my first
Is that
and
a
only
joke or
FOIA.
sincere?
It's totally real. They're based in Costa Rica, and they're run by one American and one Costa Rican. And I FOIA'd the government for them, and I won, and it was my first FOIA.
Aww. So this isn't made up. The Sloth Institute. Oh, our mission is to enhance and expand the welfare and conservation of sloths.
They do such good work.
Could you have a sloth for a pet?
It's really bad for them. No one wants a sloth pet more than I do, but it's so bad for them. Like, you should never hold a sloth. Any place that lets you hold a sloth, they're taking them from the wild from their moms. It's really, really sad.
So don't hold sloths, but you can adopt a sloth at theslothinstitute.org. And there is such a thing as responsible sloth tourism, which is good. 7 ethical ways you can become a sloth tourist. Did you have to go down to Costa Rica to see your sloths?
No, but I still need to go. I've been there a couple of times to see sloths, but I need to go again to see their sloths.
Okay.
I want to help them out and do their duties with them, because then I can touch them ethically.
Okay. Where are they're indigenous to South America, or?
Yeah, South and Central America, and different kinds are in different places. There's 7 different subtypes. One's pretty new.
Yeah. And if you want, you could support a sloth speedway, because their habitat is being decimated with the rainforest. They're actually creating, they don't want them to climb on electrical wires, right? That's bad.
Yeah.
Right?
And it actually helps. They get used to them, and then they use them for crossing. So it stops sloth electrocutions, which are really common. It's so sad. But now they're being electrocuted less.
Look at that. Connecting branches to food and shelter, little blue nylon ropes. The sloths they're slow, right? Do they move quickly?
Yeah, they're pretty slow for the most part. They can move fast, but like they have
why?
a really low metabolism. Oh yeah, it's to conserve energy because they're like built to be slow.
I don't want to. I'm like a sloth. I understand your love of the sloth. I'm with them. I'm with them.
They're so cute. I love them so much.
Yeah, they're very sweet. And they're very slow. There they go. Also with us, Georgia Dow. She's going to be the ghoul soon on YouTube. I will be watching that with great interest. But if you go to youtube.com/Georgia Dow, you can see her latest stuff. So do you have to watch a lot of TV to do this? I mean,
I do actually. Like if there's a new show that I'm going to be doing, I have to watch the whole show. So I end up I usually will watch TV at night anyway. So I'll set a certain amount of time, but like I usually like to watch the entire series of a show before I start doing it, because if I'm doing a character analysis, it's hard to do a character analysis when I haven't seen the entire set of the character. If I'm just doing a scene, that I can just kind of take a look at and just throw something together. So that makes it much easier. But then I have to design something.
I don't know Hell of a Boss, but I love your Hell of a Boss costumes. And look at her. She's so cute. And
that's from Has Been, right?
Yeah, that one's Hell of a Boss. But yes, they're like Has Been hotel characters.
Oh.
And what's great is you're talking about real psychotherapeutic issues, which kind of, so the cartoon gives you an entry into it. And this one, were you raised by a narcissist? Which, if anybody was ever raised by a narcissist, you definitely want to watch that.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. This is great. OCD, cults, also narcissism, take that, depression. So cartoons are a great place for that. But look at all the great subjects. What do you think? Go ahead.
I said if you do the second best hospital in the galaxy, you can do panic attacks.
Oh.
That's that show's
very nice.
Yeah.
I've done a few that deal with having anxiety attacks and panic attacks, and that they do really well. Like it's nice to have ones that people do, but a lot of times people like the the dark triad kind of stuff of
right.
like personality, because people don't understand that as much.
Fascinating, yeah.
So sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissism, how to deal with a narcissist. How are you gonna handle this situation? What are the effects to you? And those are kind of interesting and fun to be able to look into.
And is Ken victimized? We all want to know.
I have to say, I really enjoyed doing it. I thought that the Barbie toxic femininity would actually give me a whole bunch of backlash, interestingly enough, and it didn't, which was, I thought, kind of intriguing.
Really? Toxic femininity?
Yeah.
No. By the way, you have a great Ken outfit.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. I designed that myself. Thank you. Yeah. I was really excited.
I thought Barbie was positive feminism. I like the feminist message.
There are some good stuff, and there are some not so good stuff.
Oh.
And I have to say, I think that Alan was given a bad rap. If I have to really state it, I think Alan was the true hero. I did a video on Alan, didn't do well, but I think Alan actually, like, out of everyone, I don't know. You have to take a second look at Alan.
Alan was there was only one. There was no other people named Alan.
There was only one Alan. That's him. But like he was the one that was there, and I think that
he was the most normal of them all, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, you know what? When it comes to shove, Alan actually showed up to battle. And I'm just going to say that can't say the same about everyone else. Ken ran away. Alan was there, yet Ken gets all the glory. I don't know.
I avoided watching the Barbie movie as long as I could. And then when I watched it, I thought, why did I avoid this? This is great. This is wonderful, wonderful movie. And Greta Gerwig deserves all of the acclaim, even though she didn't get an Oscar nomination. Anyway, wonderful panel. Thank you all for being here. Now it is my turn to tell you about our sponsor for this section of This Week in Tech, In Touch CX. I had a great conversation with the folks at In Touch this week, actually. And one of the things that came to me is In Touch does so many things, it's hard to understand exactly what they can do. But let me summarize it simply by saying, if you have customers and you want to improve the customer experience, which is good for your bottom line, it's good for you, it's good for your customers, InTouch CX is the way to do it. CX stands for customer experience, and it can revolutionize your customer experience with cutting-edge AI and automated solutions across voice, chat, and email support. InTouch CX has so many different tools. It's so cool. I mean, from the language tools that let you deal with your customer in their native language to the pre-interaction tools, which can use AI to properly handle 90% or more of your customer interactions. You know this. If you've ever been on the support line, most of those interactions can be very easily handled, and AI can do it, which leaves you more time during the interaction to help customers that really need help. You can use AI there, too, to apply predictive analysis to increase customer satisfaction, because that's what it's all about. In post-interaction, achieve up to 82% resolution satisfaction, again, using generative AI to analyze all customer cases and develop smart response templates that improve your accuracy, your efficiency, and your productivity. But that's just scratching the surface of what InTouch CX can do for you and your customer experience. You can unlock new opportunities between user experience, customer experience, and employee experience to see real improvement in the metrics that matter the most. Yes, they also help you with your employees. They are revolutionizing how brands connect with their customers with their proprietary framework, which identifies key areas of automation that drive productivity, engagement, quality, going to underscore that, and cost benefits across the entire customer journey and in every industry. If you want to improve your relationship with your customers, you need a partner to help you. InTouch CX is that partner. InTouch CX's solutions enable your teams to engage with customers in a personalized and efficient way while driving loyalty and growth. And isn't that what you want? Transform your business by anticipating what's next. Discover new ways of working and how InTouch CX's industry-leading AI and automation solutions can get you there. Learn more. Book a free consultation today. They're really there not to sell you, but to work with you to make your customer experiences better. InTouchCX.com/twit. InTouchCX.com/twit. I talk with them, and we're going to, in the weeks to come, tell you a little more about some specific tools they have. But you can find out more at the website, too. There's some really fascinating stuff they're doing. InTouchCX.com/twit. And we thank them so much for their support of the show. Breaking news. There hasn't been much this week. Jack Dorsey departs the Bluesky board. That's the breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. You know,
okay.
I think he'll be fine.
Every time we do a show, I say, well, what are you finding to replace Twitter? I'm a Mastodon fan. I think all of you are on Mastodon. But Mastodon is kind of geeky, which is why I like it. It's the geeks. Some people like Threads, but there's this meta involvement and the Instagram cross thing that I think people are a little hesitant. So increasingly, I'm seeing people say Bluesky is the future or the next Twitter. But the one complaint I hear is, well, but you know, Jack Dorsey funded it. Jack Dorsey, of course, one of the founders and longtime chair of Twitter. He funded it. He's on the board. How do we know it's just not going to be another Twitter? Well, weirdly, yesterday, Jack Dorsey posted on X about grants for open protocols. That's one of the reasons he created Bluesky, is to come up with an open protocol for Twitter. Somebody asked him, are you still on the Bluesky board? And he said, no. One word, no. That was it. No. No one knows why he left the board, but as of this morning, in fact, as of this morning, he was still on the website at Bluesky as a board member, but later, just a little while ago, the company said, yeah, no, he's not on the board. We sincerely thank Jack for his help funding and initiating the Bluesky project. Today's Bluesky is thriving as an open source social network. With Jack's departure, we're searching for a new board member. Whoa, okay. I guess maybe he surprised them. What do y'all think of Bluesky?
I have an account. I can't remember my username or password. I'm sure it's
that's not
somewhere.
good. That's not good.
I think I posted like a cat on it at the very beginning, and I haven't really felt like going back.
What, you're still a Twitter guy or what? You like Mastodon too, I think. Yeah.
I told you I'm going to be writing Twitter until it hits the ground.
All the way down.
But I mean, Twitter is increasingly unusable with the amount of bot activity. It's just beyond.
Yeah, it kills me that they
I do
banned,
like Mastodon.
They forced the sale of TikTok because of all the potential for Chinese propaganda. But meanwhile, Chinese and Russian propaganda run rampant on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's doing anything about that.
Well, of course not, because that's the only thing that's keeping the numbers at Twitter up. I mean, if you take out the users who have not necessarily moved to another platform, but are just no longer posting as much as they used to because they realize my content's being wasted on Twitter, it would be truly depressing. It's an epic cratering of a social media company.
I just don't want to be on Twitter because I feel like it's supporting somebody and something whose values I don't share. Shoshana, you're also still hanging out there, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've had fewer problems with it than most people have. For some reason, the bots don't hit me as much for the most part, and most of the bots are less sexual than the ones other people are getting, which like can really throw a wrench in your workday, I guess. But also, Elon seems to like my account, not him personally, but the algorithm, the whatever favorings he's built have now amplified even my dumbest content. There were like a few days where I posted just nonsense, and everyone got to see it. It was very strange. It's
funny your nonsense got promoted, huh?
Yeah, like very much so. And it was so bizarre because it was after my stuff was suppressed for a while. So I don't get it, but right now I'm just mainly here because of work to reach people, mainly Hill people, state elected officials and their staff and reporters. But when they go somewhere else, I'll go there too. I like Bluesky. I think that there's potential, but I think that Twitter just has the incumbent advantage there.
Yeah.
And it's too similar right now. But I kind of wish they would have more fun with it. Try, I don't know, other stuff and not just like a secondary Twitter, you know?
How about you, Georgia? Are you welcoming the respite from social media?
I wasn't really a huge social media user in the first place. So I have a Twitter account, but I do I really post in it? No. Do I respond to people? Sometimes. I have Instagram, but I don't really use that. Like I try not to use social media. Like it's like I guess I'm all over social media anyways, but like no, I don't really use any of it.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
I wonder, do we really even need a Twitter replacement? It's just that it was nice to have one place you could go to see kind of. It wasn't a reflection of the world or national sentiment, but it seemed to be kind of a way to put your finger on the pulse of some group of the world, maybe the geeks. It was just a time, and it's gone. Is that?
You know how it's useful for me? It's because I treat Twitter now like I used to use Google Plus, where I've already established a community of people, a couple the 10, 20,000 people who I actually do want to connect with, whose opinion I do value, who actually do create content and analysis that I enjoy. They're the people I focus on. And if anybody else starts to intrude on that and troll, I am so fast with the block. Because I mean, it's no longer a platform for open discourse. It's now become sort of, that's my Facebook. And I'm much happier using it that way. Also, I have to say, I probably use social media 10% of what I did 3-4 years ago. And I'm so much happier that it's decreased. I like staying connected, but I do not feel the constant need to put out content.
All right. I'm just checking. I like to check. Every few weeks, I want to ask the panel, where are we going? It's kind of the real question. The thing I'm really saying is, where are we going? Is there anywhere we're going? And so far,
Oregon.
We're
going to Oregon.
We're going to Oregon. I'll be fine, Although Kevin just left Oregon, so maybe not. I don't know. Some people are going, some people are coming. I don't know. I do miss it when you could everybody would be on Twitter and you would know what was going on, but there's no solid replacement for that. And I guess that's just the way it is. I'll have to live with it.
It's going to cycle through. I mean, newsletters went away and then they came back and now they're kind of going away again.
I think they're going away again.
Personal blogs are coming back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to go around. And at some point, the current social media companies are going to falter. Their business models are going to fall apart. And then 10 years down the line, someone's going to propose something that's completely different, but it's actually the same thing. And it will do well for a while. And that's okay. I think right now we're really kind of burnt out on social media.
What do we get out of it that we might want?
Higher blood pressure?
Yeah, that's the part. Well, that's the addictive part, right? The outrage, the stimulation. That's the addictive part. That's what gets people in trouble. When you say you occasionally leave a reply on Twitter, Georgia, that's why, right? You get you, and then you get sucked into it. And it's good for their numbers, bad for their users. But do we need somewhere where I feel like it would be nice? Maybe this just doesn't exist. Maybe that's because I come from an older time when there were centralized media. And,
it's nice to get information immediately about a situation, or if, there's nice to have an access to information that is not going to take a period of time to be able to get to you. And so that's really nice. It's nice to be able to speak to people and be able to have whatever your feelings validated or affirmed. And I think that a lot of people use social media for those type of things, to be able to form connections. A lot of people that are recluse or inside of their house can be able to connect with people, talk with people, feel like they can make a difference, feel like they are heard, shouting out into the void, and the void calls back.
There's also a whole generation of writers and musicians and artists who got their start on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like TikTok. But then that begs the question, there's got to be the next thing, right? Because all those people aren't just going to stop. There's going to be some place people go.
I have spent a lot more time on Reddit. I actually went back to
me
Reddit.
too.
I had abandoned Reddit for many years, but it's so chill right now. And even the trolls are kind of funny on Reddit. They're not as mean-spirited. Go figure.
Yeah, I've been reading Reddit a lot more, especially when I need random answers to stuff. There more than Quora or wherever I feel like is really good. Quora's not bad. It's just confusing to me. But I like Reddit. And I don't think I've ever really posted there, but I love reading the threads because usually everyone said what I wanted to say anyway. And I'm like, oh, great.
Right.
And now I have more information. I love that.
I'm intimidated about posting on Reddit.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I don't. And I've done AMAs there, and occasionally I'll post something. I always feel intimidated, like I'm not cool enough. But I do. I'm just like you. I read it. And what I think I like about Reddit, and I think it works about Reddit, that no other social media, maybe Google Plus did this, but it's just the stuff you care about. So it's your particular interests and nothing else. And I kind of like that.
You can thank the moderators for that.
Yeah, thanks 60,000 unpaid volunteer moderators who keep Reddit going.
I mean, that's what made BBS great, right? I mean, those of us who started with dial-up modems, everything was moderated.
Right.
And the moderators, even though we love to hate them, made the experience much, much better.
It's the curated experience. That's what we miss.
The curated experience, yeah.
And then some people will say, oh, well, that's censorship or that's a walled garden. It's like, well, no, it's some people have not yet learned how to have a civil discourse. And they need to be reminded that they need to learn how to have a civil discourse. Otherwise, you can't be on our platform.
This brings me to an article I talked about earlier today from an Australian named Takahi. I really loved this. It came out a couple of weeks ago. Heat death of the internet. And I'm curious.
That's great. Actually, I love that.
I'll read a little bit to you. Heat death, of course, is what happens when entropy finally wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is evenly distributed and cold as ice. You want to order from a local restaurant, but you need to download a third-party delivery app, even though you plan to pick it up yourself. The prices and menu on the app are different to what you saw in the window. When you download a second app, the prices are different again. You ring the restaurant directly, it says that number is no longer in service. You go to the restaurant, you order in person, you mention their website has the wrong number. The woman behind the counter says, yeah, we have to contact the company that designed the site for changes. It's going to cost us. But most people order through the app anyway. You want to watch the trailer for an upcoming movie on YouTube, but first you have to sit through an ad. Then you sit through a preview for the trailer itself. Then you watch the trailer, which is literally another ad. When it ends, it queues up a new trailer with a new ad at the start of it. The first page of Google results are links to pages that have scraped other pages for information from other pages that have been scraped for information. All the sources seem to link back to one another. There is no origin. The photos on the page look weird. The hands are disfigured. There is no image credit. And it goes on and on. And he's summarizing, I feel like, an experience we all have. Now, what happened?
It got too easy to create.
No.
There used to be a barrier to creation, so you would only put up stuff that you actually wanted to. Now, the internet is experiencing the 24-hour news channel syndrome, where there's so much stuff going on all the time, and everybody wants to carve out their own niche. That you're heat deathing yourself into oblivion.
There's also, though, and this is Corey Doctorow's shitification. The general just decline of everything. Here's more from Takahi. The Airbnb charges you a $150 cleaning fee, but insists the place needs to be left spotless. There'll be a fee if the bedding hasn't been stripped and the washer hasn't been emptied. Your Uber driver is lost because his app hasn't been updated and keeps telling him to turn down streets that no longer exist. You still give him 5 stars. Your mother sends you a link to a breaking story, but the article is behind a paywall, so you switch to the website where you do pay for news, but there's no mention of it. And on and on and on. We've all been there.
Yep.
You buy a microwave and receive ads for microwaves. You buy a mattress and receive ads for mattresses. I do feel like it's gone downhill. Now, see, I have to ask you guys because you're all younger than me, and it is normal for a person of my advanced age to think that the world is no longer as good as it was when I was young. Is it?
No, it's different now because they figured out how to make money there, and then, that's basically it. We figured out how to make money on the internet, so everyone's making money on the internet. I mean, it's really that simple, I think.
Okay.
Am I wrong? Anybody?
I think it's more than that, but I think it's partly that.
I don't want to just limit on money.
There's just a lot of crap. And I have to blame Google a little bit for this because, I mean, look, Google can only index crap. If all there is crap, then that's all that's going to be on a Google search result. But I feel like Google hasn't done much to improve the quality of conversation. Maybe that's not their job. Maybe they're just there to reflect what's on the net.
They're all fighting for your attention.
That's what that is. Yes. There you go. They
have to put out more things, and everyone that's putting out stuff wants that social credit of like validation from other people. So there's just a lot of stuff out there.
How come? Because that's all monetized. The more page hits, the more money you get.
And we know that.
It's all very simple.
Because we've just learned, thanks to the Department of Justice lawsuit against Alphabet in Discovery, we have learned that Google in 2022, this is 2 years ago, paid Apple $20 billion to be the default search engine on iPhones. We knew it was a lot. We didn't know it was that much. $20 billion. That is it because it's that valuable? Wow. It must be, right?
Well, people do what they know, right? They get comfortable with it. If they're always using it, then they're going to want to use that at home. It's the same reason why, people put like computers for free in school so kids learn on them. Because once you feel comfortable with something, you're not going to want to change it. And so
I never thought about that.
And then you're kind of indoctrinated into an ecosystem. And once you're in an ecosystem, it's hard to switch over an ecosystem.
It also means Google has to recoup that $20 billion.
I think that they're probably doing okay. I think they might be hitting those numbers.
They are.
They own both sides of the ad market. So
but that's why they're doing okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not they're doing okay because their search is better. It's not they're doing okay because they paid Apple $20 billion to use the search. It's because they paid Apple $20 billion to see the ads that Google proffers on their search. And in a way, I think that's really what's going on. There's Ed Zitron, who's going to be on Twig on Wednesday, wrote a piece on the man who ruined Google. And he's talking, this is in his blog, Where's Your Ed At? And the man who killed Google Search is the current head of Google Search, Prabhakar Raghavan, who replaced a guy who was pretty committed to making search be independent of the ad business. The problem is the ad business was starting to go down, and in 2019 issued a code yellow for search revenue. There had always been a division between search and ads. Like, we're not going to do anything to modify search so you can make more money in ads. Well, 6 months after that 2019 cold yellow, Prabhakar Raghavan got appointed head of Google Search, and it's been going downhill ever since. And he came from Yahoo, where he destroyed their search over a period of years. He basically, according to Ed, and we'll talk to Ed on Wednesday, but I think he makes a good case. He was the guy who said, yeah, ads, come on in. We will do whatever it is we need to do to make sure our revenue is sufficient. And I feel like he succeeded. And I think some of that's driven by the $20 billion a year they pay to Apple. More than $1 billion a month. Almost $2 billion a month they pay to Apple. That's because search is the revenue driver. Because
I don't know. It's funny, like I haven't seen a deterioration of Google search, but I will say, like, when I do Google ads, because we get like a limited amount of ad grants, and like I found the tools are better, just more intuitive. They give you more options for using stuff. A lot of it's not useful for us, but some of it is. And I don't know, I feel like their ad tools have gotten better, and not in ways that I could see it being used for wrong, honestly. But, just like you can have more ad options.
But you don't think their search has gotten worse?
No, I haven't had that, but maybe it's because I'm weird and I search for weird specific things.
That
there's
is.
like not a lot of results.
If you search for sneakers, you would not think that, right?
No, I don't. I know what sneakers I want, and I'm not searching Google for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a page
I'm the only one in
ads.
here who doesn't use Google for search, right?
Oh.
What do you use?
I've been using Bing for the last 10 years.
Ew.
Ew.
Exclusively.
DuckDuckGo.
I pay for search, which is really
Oh,
anathema to everybody, but I use this company called Kagi, and I can't remember what I pay, but it doesn't matter because I pay them, I don't have to see any ads, and I believe that the results are cleaner as a result.
Do you think that you find your results faster?
I don't know. Give me something that you'd like to search for. Let's try it. What's your test?
Unicycles.
How would you Okay, that's more along what Shoshana was saying. The weirder stuff, the better. So here's unicycle.com. Unicycles on Amazon. So that's a selling thing. Self-balancing electric unicycles, the Unicycle Society of America. With by the way, information on buying a unicycle. There's a blast from the past.
Quality search there.
I think this is quality. I think this is good. No ads. They have the knowledge graph that Google does. So this is interesting. They also tell you that 27% of these are unique results to Kagi. Kagi combines results from Google and others and Bing and other sources, but it also has its own spider. So I don't know. I think it's I pay for it because I just feel like I've been let down by Google.
What is their privacy like?
I hope it's very good. I don't. The theory is that because I'm paying them, they don't have to sell my information. It says searches are anonymous and private to you. Kagi does not log and associate searches with an account. We do not log or store your IP address. We only store cookies needed for site functionality. We do not use any web browser analytics or other front-end telemetry. I think it's probably, obviously, if you're paying somebody like $10 a month to use their search, they better not, right?
Until they sell it to somebody else.
Yeah, you would hope not.
Until they sell it to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. They sell it to someone else.
It shows
but they
you
don't keep it. They don't keep your search history for a period of time. So even if they sold out, they would only be
from scratch.
Oh, okay.
They show you exactly which cookies they set. They set all 5 of them. I feel like this is my little protest.
Yeah.
And
how many devices can you use it on?
All of them.
Your whole household, all of your family?
Everywhere. Yeah, everywhere I use Kagi.
That's why I use Bing.
But you don't have to pay for more. Sorry, do you have to pay more? Like, is it $10 a month and you have your entire family can use it, or is it $10 per person, or is it per device, or
no,
is it like
just
10 devices?
I think it's as far as I know, they There's a Kagi extension, because no browser, by the way, allows you to switch to Kagi. There's a Kagi extension which you install. You do have to log into your account, but I have yet to, I use many, as you might imagine, many devices. I have yet to run into a limit. There probably is, but I don't know what it is. I haven't yet found it. I just feel like that the problem, and Larry Page pointed this out with PageRank, his very first paper about how Google works, is he said you shouldn't have an ad on these things because it will pollute the results. As soon as you're selling ads, you're going to pollute the results.
Which is true.
In 1998, Larry said, the goals of the advertising business model do not always correspond to providing quality search to users. Actually, Larry was prescient. He figured he was right. Google generated $76 billion in ad revenue in 2023. It's interesting that they paid $20 billion of that to Apple.
Now, Leo, before we move on, there are always people who say, I can't possibly have been using Bing for that long and use it as my primary search engine. I just want to show this. So this is my Bing page. And if you look there, I've got 205,491 points.
Oh, you've got the Bing points. Do you have to give those to the Pope, or can you keep them?
No, these are mine. I think 205,000 will earn me like 1 month of subscription on Xbox, I think.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah.
It's still pretty cool that you earn points to be able to, it's like a subscription system. You make a little bit of money for yourself that you can do something with. That's cute.
You can get a brown
I can trade this in. Well, no, this is that's like like $500 worth of Amazon gift cards, basically.
Right.
That's not bad.
Here is, by the way, just so you know, there's a Kagi individual plan and there's a family plan. I don't know what the family plan. Then there's the ultimate plan, which is $25 a month. I think that's what I'm doing. And you get everything. So it's expensive. 2 or more people. If you have a family plan, so maybe it's an honor system. I don't know, because I don't really. I just pay for the individual. Well, I have the ultimate. So
let's go back to the in-crapification. Would the internet be better, social media, search engines, the whole lot, if it was pay?
Well, the thing is, you're going to pay because nothing's free.
One way or another, you're going to pay.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it was upfront about payment, I am paying you for a service. You're not advertising. You're not selling my data because I'm paying you enough that you can be profitable from what I'm giving you. So if that becomes the model that everyone wants and the model that everyone would be willing to use, is the internet better? In that theoretical scenario, is the internet better? Is social media better? Are services not going to be splitting off into different types of apps because they're now being paid rather than providing that service for free?
I think in the best of all possible worlds, that would be the case. But we also know no one's going to do that. No, the users aren't going to, especially when you give away something for free originally. I mean, I'll give you an example, Club Twit. We give away our podcast for years, right? Now we're asking people to pay, and fewer than 2%. Now, we don't have a paywall, but fewer than 2% are willing to help us out with $7 a month. I would like to get that number up to 5%, which is very, I think, doable. That means 95% of the people listening to the shows get it for free. But that 5% makes it possible for us to operate, fully without any cuts. But the problem is getting people to pay for something they got for free. Yeah. Nobody wants another subscription. Please, if you would, just one more subscription, please. Just one more.
And also, not every company is aimed for sustainability. They're all trying infinite growth. So
we don't care about growth.
Well, they're all aiming for acquisition.
We don't care about that anyway either. So.
Well, think about even Hulu and Netflix. I mean, Netflix just makes some really weird, crappy shows. You can pitch like a dream you had when you had the flu to Netflix and it'll take it. And Netflix is paid, so
That's true.
Starring Will Smith.
It's more and more expensive all the time, isn't it?
Well, it's starting to win. Like Netflix is starting to win.
It's totally winning.
Because it's getting all the media back. All the properties are going back to Netflix. So
they are. If anybody's going to be a winner in this, it's going to be Netflix, maybe Disney. because they own Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN.
And we pay for cable, and cable sucks now. I mean, like Comedy Central doesn't produce any new shows. They just run, and I'm not saying I don't like it, but they run reruns all day in sequential order, as does FXX. Again, not saying I don't like it, but like they're not like I could just go buy the box set and like, whatever, and go do it that way. Instead of paying for cable, which is why I switched to Hulu.
Netflix had a very good quarter. In fact, they said we're not going to. I think I can't remember what their increase in viewers was, but it was significant. They said this is the last time we're going to tell you. Let's see. Netflix reports record profits. This is from Forbes. As subscriber growth tops estimates. Let's see. Where's the increase? I think it was 14-15%.
It's because of the account sharing crackdown. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It?
Yeah,
I haven't yet been told.
Crackdown.
No, I haven't been told not to share my passwords yet.
A lot of people have.
Have they? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm getting away with it. Shh.
I mean, I don't use Netflix. I don't use Hulu. I don't use any of those paid services. I do it like an American should do it. And I use my brother's password for Disney Plus. That's about it.
Did you watch the Taylor Swift concert yet?
Is that on Disney?
Yes.
Wait.
Okay, so she put the Eras concert, which you could have bought for $25, but I couldn't bring myself to do that. She put that on Disney Plus, and I thought, oh, good, I have an account there, and I don't. And then it said, well, do you want to pay for Disney Plus? And that's when I stopped. I'm not for that. What keeps you on Disney Plus?
Because literally, I don't pay for it.
Yeah, but if you didn't, but you watch it, you use this. So what do you watch?
Oh yeah. I'm kind of burnt out on Marvel and Star Wars.
Yeah, me too.
But Disney Plus does have some interesting Nat Geo programming from before they became a 24-hour reality programming channel. That I actually do enjoy that. Also, Paramount Plus on my Amazon account. I really enjoyed going back through Star Trek. And that's pretty much the only thing on. Oh, that and Tulsa King. That's the only thing on Paramount that I've enjoyed.
Tulsa King?
Tulsa King. I did Tulsa King. That was cute.
What's Tulsa King? Is it a cartoon?
It's with
Sylvester
Stallone.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's a cute show. It gives you what you expect.
Yeah.
Which is what?
Popcorn.
Which is Sylvester Stallone breaking heads and making people respect him.
Okay.
And showing his heart.
I got heart.
Yeah. It has some rocky moments.
Moments? I get it.
Right.
Oh, wait.
I get
I
it.
mean it that way. I mean it that way.
It's wrong. All right, let's pause for a moment.
I just watched X-Men 97, and I have to say, it was quite enjoyable.
It was really good.
It had some music.
Yeah.
Come on.
It had the vibe.
Music.
It had the vibe from that cartoon.
Totally into it. And Magneto, I'll just say it, hot. I said it. There we go.
No, is that H-O-T or H-A-W-T? Because that's very important to make that distinction.
You have to watch it and see.
Quick question. Do you think kids are watching X-Men 97, or is it just kids who were kids in 97?
It's quite popular right now. So I don't know. I think people
but for kids or with adults?
Going back to it. With both.
Okay.
Which one of these is Magneto? The one on the left or the one on the right?
Yes, he's the one with the long hair.
He's hot. He's a cartoon.
He's a hot cartoon.
Who's the guy on the right then? What's that?
Oh, I forget his name.
Some old guy.
It's a very simple name, yeah.
Yeah. Magneto has triggered a global EMP in episode 8 to wipe out Bastion's prime
Wait,
sentinels.
you can't say it. You can't give them episode 8 because you have to wait.
You have to wait.
Yeah, well, hold on.
You have to see. No spoilers.
I feel like cartoons, the quality of the animation is so bad these days. It's like
this one they can get away with because they're saying it's a continuation from 97.
Oh, it has to look as bad as it did.
They were copying the style.
They're being very sneaky.
Yeah. All right, let me take a little break here, and we will come back with more of our fabulous panel. Our show today brought to you by ExpressVPN. Using the internet without using ExpressVPN is like using the bathroom and not closing the door. So why does everyone need a VPN? Internet service providers know every single website you visit, and they, in the United States anyway, can legally sell that information to ad companies, to tech giants who then use your data to target you. Why use ExpressVPN? Well, do it for the same reason I do. ExpressVPN creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet, so your online activity can't be seen by anybody. It's just like closing the bathroom door. The app is great. It has a big button. Turn it on. You tap to connect, and your browsing activity is secure from prying eyes. It comes up for me all the time when I'm at airports especially. I'm always very nervous. Always turn on ExpressVPN. When we were in Mexico, I used ExpressVPN to watch TV in the U.S. because I couldn't watch it in Mexico. There's just a lot of reasons why it's a good thing to have. Rated number 1 by The Verge and by Tech Radar. But here's the thing. It works on everything you've got. Both Android and iOS, Mac and Windows, Linux, laptops. You can even put it on your router. They sell routers. They have some very good routers, or you can put it on your existing router so that everyone who shares your Wi-Fi can be protected. It's a great solution. Easy to use, powerful, and totally secure and private. Secure your online activity by visiting expressvpn.com/twit today. EXPRESSVPN. EXPRESSVPN.com/twit. 3 extra months free when you buy a 1-year package. That's a good deal. expressvpn.com/twit. All right. You may have noticed there's a dearth of tech news this week. I'm really scratching.
It was a slow week.
It was a slow week. And that's why we're going to let you guys talk about Helldivers 2. I have not played this game. Shoshana and I will just watch while you guys talk. Right, Shoshana? You're not I'm assuming you're not a Helldivers 2 player.
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm not opposed. I like watching people play video games wrong. Like Monster Factory is a big thing that I love. But I just want to watch other people mess up video games and mod weird things in. That's all I'm here for.
So what happened? Helldivers 2 was pulled from Steam in 170 countries because Sony wanted you to make an account. Is that why?
Right. So even if you're playing on a PC, they wanted you to have a console account for the PlayStation Network, which, I mean, on its face, that's just like, oh, what? I mean, this is a company that was complaining about Microsoft making antitrust moves, and they just made a huge antitrust move in front of everybody. So naturally, Helldivers went from an incredible score on Steam of user satisfaction to got negative bombed into a ratio that you wouldn't believe, and rightfully so. Now, the leader came out, and his first attempt at explaining what was going on was ham-fisted and terrible, and rightfully no one accepted his apology. But the second apology he made actually seemed heartfelt. It was more along the lines of, look, yeah, we messed up. We went too fast. We didn't explain why we were doing this. We didn't explain what we were hoping to improve the experience with this move would be. But as it turns out, Helldivers 2 is a fun game that got caught up in some really nasty internal office politics.
And now people can't use the game that have already bought the game.
Correct.
That have the game. And because of Steam's return policy, it becomes this really messy thing of you can't play a game anymore that you've already paid for. And made people really angry about that. The problem is that when you expect something, when you are already used to something, and then for after you've been enjoying something to be suddenly now you have to do another step, another barrier to entry, people really don't like that. Right. If you don't start it off, head it off at the pass. And the CEO knew that this was going to be coming up. And so it's one of these weird things. And Sony also changed their privacy policy. At first they said some game you might need to, you were never going to force you to have to sign in on games that you didn't already sign in on. And then later they changed it to be like, there's some games that we may force you to sign in on. And so it becomes this really messy bit of politics that comes out. And a lot of people are really upset, even people that have accounts, just because a lot of people don't want to have to sign into things if they didn't already have to beforehand. And why are you forcing everyone to sign in? And why do they want that?
Because I actually didn't even see this story. But just so you know, it's a big deal. This is the year's best-selling game so far. This is not a little...
Yeah. And it was exceptionally popular. It had amazing reviews.
Which now it's getting a lot of...
the gameplay,
quite the opposite, right? People
the gameplay was actually quite good.
What is the game?
The reason why people are upset was because they actually really enjoyed it. I mean, this is one of these games that gets people amped up about playing with other players. Imagine that in today's world where people generally want to stay away from other people. You had people who were joining clans to take on quests, to take back planets from different factions. It was, I mean, this had everything. It had everything going from it, and it had overwhelming support from its fan base. And then they did this, and it 180'd it.
Wow.
I can't imagine any game studio doing a 180 this quickly.
Look at this.
From beloved to hated.
It was beloved, but now if I go to Steam and look at the reviews, overwhelmingly negative. 248,357 user reviews, 14% positive. 14% positive, which means 86%
going down. It's
negative.
tanking very fast.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, it wasn't that bad.
It was 90 plus before this whole thing.
People are pissed.
So that's how.
But the gameplay's not changed, right? It's still the same game.
It's the same game.
It's merely that
the
you have to
studio
have a
has
PSN
said-
account. That's it.
Yeah, it was mentioned. The studio said, "Oh no, we had always planned to do this. This was going to be the launch, but there were technical issues, which generally means they realized the PlayStation Network wouldn't handle the traffic. It was going to crash if everyone was trying to sign in. But it just sounds so silly and a bait and switch. This is going to end in a class action. There's no way this doesn't unless they reverse this policy.
So
And
I
there's
don't
so
play
many
games
people.
enough to understand, like, what legitimately, like, as someone who doesn't play, like, what's the big deal with having to have that other account? Like, is it just because it's a whole nother thing to log into, or is it like something else?
There's some countries that don't have, you can't log in, period.
Oy.
Some people don't have them. So like you there's some people that absolutely, like, they just can't. There's not even, it only takes moments to be able to log into it. Some people, don't want to on a whatever reason. Some people don't have a PlayStation account. Some people don't have a PlayStation. So for some people it's privacy issues. But the main issue is that there are many countries where they do not have access to be able to make an account. They can't make an account.
There are only
I didn't
69
realize that.
approved. You can buy the game everywhere, but you can only play it in 69 countries.
Oh, that's obnoxious. So they just sold it to people who they knew weren't going to be able to play it.
Furthermore, they're not offering refunds.
Steam hasn't yet.
We're going to have to do something.
They're going to get such backlash because, like, and they keep on, they dropped it off of Steam. Like, I think that yesterday it was 100, now it's 170. But they keep on, like, cutting out countries that cannot get the game. So you can't buy it there. But a lot of people have already bought it. So.
Oh, that's
sadly,
awful.
this is part of, like, the deterioration in the video games industry where we don't own games anymore.
Yeah,
we
this
license
is
games
more
now.
enshittification.
None of us get to
No,
own
it's-
games anymore. Like, we all
Exactly,
license
which is
them for
so
free. So
infuriating.
they get to do all the stuff that they want to, and we can't do it. We gave these
They
rights
can
up like
change it.
20 years ago, people. Sorry.
Well, it's so
Yeah,
funny because
yeah.
the games industry, I thought, had learned the lesson of copy protection, for instance. But now this one has DRM. They're all coming back with copy protection. Is that suddenly because they're losing so much money to piracy? No.
No,
Not
I'm sure
for
there's
games.
someone
A lot of it's
inside
anti-cheat.
who has convinced themselves
Yeah.
that that's why their profits are dropping.
People get like that with copyright. Like, it's so strange to me that the way the IP world works, where they think that lack of sufficient copyright is the cause of all their problems rather than, like, their own slip ups. It makes sense that it happens in the video game industry too. I just wouldn't have thought of that, I guess.
Well, and Sony, frankly, this is not the first time Sony has shot itself in the foot. I mean, it does this again and again. It is. I feel like they're kind of unaware. Like they don't understand their audience at all.
I think they're so big, right, that they're not really paying attention. I feel bad for the game developers themselves because the game is really good and was really loved, and they had a lot of PR and a lot of people emotionally invested in the game and the people that made it. And the CEO made a mistake. This is, he's not blameless, but he was really honest about, listen, I also carry blame. It's not just Sony. I knew about this. I should have done things differently. I feel really bad. And has come out and said, like, sometimes just like, I don't know what to do, or I'm sorry, I don't know what's going to happen, and been kind of very transparent, which I find refreshing. I think that even though he does hold blame and this is horrible and he's a part of this mess, at least he's out there like right on the front lines, kind of taking some hits from people that are very angry and going out there and answer. He could have done the easy thing and just said nothing and hoped that this passes, which it won't.
Honestly, I bet he didn't have any choice, that this was part of his agreement to do whatever Sony wanted. It's a small Swedish independent developer, Arrowhead Game Studios. I think he's really manning up by saying, I take responsibility, even though I bet you he had no choice. That was the deal, right?
I remember Sony screwed up No Man's Sky.
Oh, God, yes.
When they took on that title and they forced them to do the release when, even though the development team was saying it's not ready, it's not ready, it's not ready. And eventually No Man's Sky became a great game. 2-3 years later, it is a fantastic game. This is the opposite. It started out as a great game and it's now become horrible.
Wow. Wow, I didn't realize this is a big story. We should have led with this story. I apologize. I had no idea. I hadn't even heard about it, but now I know. Benito, you should have warned me.
You need to play more games, Leo.
I clearly do. I am behind the times. All right, one more break, and then we're going to we'll wrap things up. You were watching I think one of my favorite panels. I love all three of you. It's so great to have Father Robert on, Shoshana Weissmann, Georgia Dow. I told you, Georgia, I'm coming your way in September. Lisa and I are going to come visit you. And Renee. Maybe we have a meetup in Montreal. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun.
Perfect.
Yeah. Our show today brought to you by NetSuite. The less your business depends on operations, multiple systems, and delivering your product or service, the more margin you have and the more money you keep. But wait a minute. How do I do that? Well, you can reduce costs and headaches. Smart businesses are graduating to NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. But here's the thing. It brings it all together under one roof. Accounting, financial management, inventory, HR. That's one platform and a single source of truth. And that's the way to operate efficiently. With NetSuite, you reduce IT costs because NetSuite lives in the cloud. No hardware required. And it's great because you can access it anywhere. You cut the cost of maintaining multiple systems because it's one unified business management suite. You improve efficiency by bringing all your major business processes into one platform, slashing manual tasks, copying and pasting from one device to the other, all the errors that implies. It's no surprise over 37,000 companies have already made the move. Do the math. See how you profit with NetSuite. By popular demand, NetSuite has extended its one-of-a-kind flexible financing program for just a few more weeks. Head to netsuite.com/twit. netsuite.com/twit. We thank them so much for their support and the big improvement they're making to the lives of many, many businesses. netsuite.com/twit. All right. What else is going on? I think we've covered all the news I had. Anybody have anything they want to share?
Let's see. iPhones don't do alarms all the time.
That was an interesting story. The iPhones just randomly dropping alarms. Apple's finally admitted it. I don't know if they have a fix for it. Of course, Apple has a big event Tuesday. We're going to get up early, Micah Sargent and I, to watch a video together. I don't know why Apple does this, but all it is a release of a video. But they sent out the invitations, and we're going to all watch it when they release the video. It's just too bad that it's 7 a.m. Pacific. Just right for you, Father Robert, though. You'd be right in the middle of your afternoon.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to watch it because I've heard that the announcement is going to be the brand new Apple Watch will always do the alarms at the right time. So
no, it's not. That's wrong.
No, that's not it.
I think we're pretty sure that the Apple event will be, if you take a look at it, about there's a pencil there the guy's flipping, and it's rare that they actually have a product in their invitations, but this time we know Apple Pencil number 3, and presumably 2 new iPads, an iPad Pro, 12.9 inch and 11 inch. And maybe, I don't know, maybe what else we don't know. Be nice to see a new iPad mini.
I need a new mini.
Yeah, the minis are great. Yeah, I hear that from so many people. People love the mini. I don't know why Apple doesn't give it much love. It's over 3 years since the iPad mini 6th generation came out. You know why? Do you feel like you need a new one, Benito?
I do, because I have a pretty old one. So I would like a new one.
Well, I've got the latest.
Wait.
And I don't feel like I need a new one. I don't know what would
do you
improve.
need a new one because yours is old or because it won't do what you need it to do anymore?
No, it's just old.
Yeah.
And I got it for free, so I might as well pay for this one.
Yeah, the iPad mini is still available, but it's just it's not been updated. I think they will probably update it this year. The really interesting thing I'll be watching for on Tuesday is AI. We're pretty sure from rumors that Mark Gurman has said that they will have OLED screens, which will be nice. I have an iPad Pro. I don't feel any need for a new one, except if the screen's really nice. The pen does more things, and this is the big one. Mark Gurman has said this, and it shocks me. The rumor is that they will put a brand new Apple Silicon chip in there, the M4. They're currently shipping some products with an M3, many products with an M2. This will have the M4. It'll be leapfrog everything else to have the latest with, and what is the chief feature of the M4? Better AI. Yeah. So I'd be very curious to see what Apple. Now, I think one of the possibilities is they will announce a product that won't ship for a while. We know it'll use a new version of iOS 18 that isn't out, or iPad OS 18 that isn't out yet. So it may be, they're going to say coming soon. I don't know. What would Apple do to make you want a new iPad? What could they do?
For me, it's not AI. That's not the selling.
Better
point.
screen, maybe, right? Better pen, maybe.
The screen is already gorgeous.
The problem they have with the current iPad Pro is too fast. It's an M1 or M2, but it's already faster than any software. They need software that challenges it before anybody's going to get excited about a new iPad. Apple's kind of in an interesting conundrum, a quandary. Rumor is they're talking both to OpenAI and Gemini, Google about their AIs, the Gemini AI and the ChatGPT. I wonder, I think Apple might be agnostic on this and say you have your choice. The other question, though, is are they going to enhance Siri? And my guess is they are. Google's already done that with Gemini. You can already use Google's. I did that on my Pixel, replaced Google Assistant with Gemini. Not that it's any better, but it sounds more modern, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, there's not really a question that Apple is going to improve Siri because
they have to.
One of their core philosophies is they own the core technologies in their products. Right. And if they are really betting on AI, they're not going to want to be beholden to Microsoft or Google.
Right. Well, we'll watch with great interest. And I hope you'll watch with us, 7 a.m. Pacific time this coming Tuesday. Micah Sargent and I will be in our jammies, and because it's very early in the morning, and we will watch and see we'll watch the video together and see what Apple announces. Now, interestingly, it's kind of like the rapture. Some Apple journalists are disappearing on Tuesday. So I think Apple is doing briefings. We know
busing them somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere they're going to Light and get to see the new stuff. So as soon as we get those people back from their brief visits to the Holy Land, we will get their sense of what the new iPads can offer. Anything else coming up this week? We didn't even talk about Apple's quarterly results. They weren't great. But, Apple kind of acknowledged that times are tough. We don't have a new iPhone this quarter. So, this is normally a down
they're
quarter.
saturated. Their product is saturated. And the Vision Pro is a bust. Yeah. The Apple Watch is basically petered out. So it's the phone. That's all they really have right now.
And
they desperately need another product.
Services was up, but remember that some of that was the billions of dollars they get from Google every year. $90 billion in revenues, a record amount for services. Mac revenue up 4% year over year, probably because of the M3 MacBook Air. iPad revenue down 17% from a year ago. The weakest iPad quarter in 4 years. But you know what? That's because the new iPads are not out yet. iPhone revenue down 10% year over year. That's a pretty big drop for the number one driver. Here are Jason Snell's 6 colors graphs. This is revenue. You can see how spiky Apple revenue is, though. The big quarter is the quarter when the iPhone comes out. Those are the peaks, and then it's usually down after that. iPhone is still half of Apple's profit or revenue, I guess. But look at that services chunk. That purple triangle's been growing steadily.
Going to be able to get their growth, yeah.
Yeah, steadily.
But I think they're making the right move with that massive $110 billion buyback. That gives them a lot of running room to say, okay, we need time to figure out what product we're going to bring next or what product we're going to mature. They can't do that if the market is going to be going crazy if they don't exceed expectations every single quarter. And they were in a unique position to be able to do that massive amount of a buyback. And I would be surprised if that's the last buyback we have this year.
$110 billion buyback. It is a record amount for almost any company. And I think they also are offering a dividend. But in both cases, that's kind of mostly, it's not investment in the company. It's investment in the stock price. It's to prop up the stock price. It has a side effect that it makes it easier to acquire talent, which is important to Apple because the stock options are worth more if the stock is worth more. And I should say keep talent because it's really the people they're keeping. I don't know. Warren Buffett sold a significant amount of his Apple stock this quarter. I think it'd be premature to say it's the end of the line for Apple, but they desperately need the next big thing, don't they? It's not the car we know now. They canceled that project. Mm-mm. Is Vision Pro going to come back? You're a VR fanatic, Georgia Dow. Did you buy a Vision Pro?
No.
Oh, that's bad.
I don't really have a use case for it. It doesn't do anything really better than what I have already. I'm not really drawn to it.
Yeah.
And I have everything. So yeah.
You have the Vive, you have the Quest, all the models of the Quest. I have all the Quests.
PSVR. Yeah. I had
never did get PS.
I mean, you can get the full Vision Pro kit with all the extras for about $2,100 on eBay now.
This is the real, telling point is that people are selling their even brand new Vision Pro. I think I saw a complaint on Reddit from one guy who had bought 10 of them expecting to make big bucks scalping them.
Oh, he's got to wait like 20 years.
You know what? I'm happy. Happy he tanked, okay? Because I hate those scalpers.
Yeah.
Those are terrible.
Yeah.
Anytime they do that for a console, for a phone, nope.
He didn't get a lot of support, I have to say.
Yeah.
There are people selling it above list on the brand new ones.
You need to go check sold listings.
Which one's sold?
Sold listings.
Oh, that's you're right. That would be better, wouldn't it? That would be, we would now know, where would that?
Scroll down.
Scroll down.
On the left.
Sold.
How long was the return period? It's 30 days, right?
No, it was a short 2 weeks. We had sold items. Let's see here.
Make sure to keep people to keep it.
Oh, $2,500. That's $1,000 off the list price pre-owned. Although that guy got, a good month of Vision Pro for only $1,000, right? Got some of his money back.
That sucks. That really
sucks. Without it having a really good set of games or a killer game that has an amazing immersive experience, the AR isn't so fabulous. With it being AR, like the glasses that you're getting, Leo, makes so much more sense to do AR. It's light, doesn't look too funky. But to do AR where you're wearing this huge, clunky, heavy, causes your neck pains, and you're not doing a game, I don't understand why I would suffer to be able to look at my computer screen where I want to. Like, why would I do that?
And Apple Vision Pro is not AR. That's mixed reality because it's still projecting an image, a full image.
You have to see the cameras.
Yes, very good point. Yeah.
So, here's one.
I'm actually more interested in those HUD glasses that you're buying for $300.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Brilliant Labs.
If it works,
If it works. We're seeing a lot of AI products that promise a lot but don't deliver. I have good feelings about this. Brilliant Labs did a monocle.
I love that.
And it worked.
It's like the idea of a monocle.
It was a heads-up monocle, you know?
You could rock a monocle, Leo. You totally could. You could pull that one
really good.
Yeah. But you got to get a top hat. You have to have a top hat.
And you have to have a little bit of an accent.
I have the whole kit and caboodle, actually. This was supposed to come end of, I'll have to check my shipping. This was supposed to come end of April. Hasn't come yet.
Oh.
And I did order it with my lens, with my prescription. So has
anyone mentioned if they work the way that they're supposed to?
No one's got it yet.
No one.
No one that I know of has. I haven't seen any reviews. So it'll be interesting. It has OpenAI built in. It's got whisper translation, which is also OpenAI. Perplexity search, so you can. I guess it's got a camera right over the bridge of your nose. And
it doesn't upload any of the video that you're taking to a cloud service that you don't have access to.
I would hope not, but I don't know.
Okay.
I'll find out for you. You keep asking me these tough questions. It does come with Mr. Power, which is a nose bridge charger.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. It looks like a Mr. Potato Head.
It
does. The little Mr. Potato Head.
I have to say, I love the sense of humor.
That's cute.
Missed opportunity in making
so
the end
cute.
of the cable black to make it a mustache.
Oh, they could have made it a mustache.
Oh, that would have been really cute.
It's open source, which I like. In fact, their code is on GitHub, which also makes me feel like there might be a future of this because people can tinker with it. I don't know. I like the idea. We'll see.
It's intriguing.
And the monocle is still available. It's only $300.
That's adorable.
If you want the monocle, you can get the monocle. I think I'm gonna like the glasses. It's hard to keep a monocle in. It just doesn't.
You're not practiced enough yet.
Maybe you'll work on it. Actually, this clips onto your glasses, which maybe looks a little too.
Oh, does it?
A little too.
Oh, wait, this clips on.
You can flip it up and down.
The monocle
that's
does.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, okay.
That's a little borgy.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
It doesn't look as cute as I thought.
That's the monocle. I'm getting the glasses. I will have them.
glasses.
Next time I speak to you, I will have them, I'm sure.
Ooh.
Well, I have confidence. Either that, I'm going to buy a heavily discounted Vision Pro. No, definitely not.
Right.
Definitely not.
And then wear that the next time that we do a show.
Our last story comes from the venerable BBC and our very own Jammer B, John Slonina. North Yorkshire Council in the UK to phase out apostrophe use on street signs. You see that St. Mary's Walk?
Oh my God! Finally! I've been
you know why?
Curious about this.
It can affect geographic databases. All new signs will be produced without apostrophes, regardless of previous use. Residents spoken to by the BBC urge the authority to retain apostrophes or risk everything going downhill.
So basically, this is an XKCD cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, if you live in Bobby drop tables, it's gonna mess up.
It's
their
little
database.
Bobby drop tables. It is. Yep. What is the apostrophe? Is it a sequel problem? What does the apostrophe do?
Maybe if they're combining it with latitude and longitude, it messes something up. But no, it shouldn't do anything to a database.
It is not the first band. Devon has banned apostrophes in its new street names. And apparently countries around the world are abandoning apostrophes. But I don't like it. Proofreader Mary DeVere Taylor from Ashburton said the thought of apostrophes being removed made her shudder. It's almost as though somebody with a giant eraser is literally trying to erase punctuation from our consciousness. This is what happens.
She hasn't been on Twitter.
Yeah, right. My kids used to mock me for using punctuation in my messages. Anyway, I guess it somehow impedes, confuses the computer.
Yeah, I would assume that it's like, it's like centimeters, or like it gives it a different signal and pops something else in.
Yeah.
Because it's used for two different
things. Or
things.
they think it's minutes, not seconds, or I don't know.
But apostrophes are not optional. They change the meaning of something. So
it's the end of the street. String.
Yeah.
So it says St. Mary.
Possessive or plural?
I don't know. If a computer can't handle apostrophe, I don't have high hopes for AI, right? I think that's a sign of the times. We got problems.
Well, now we know when the robot apocalypse shows up, not the zombie one. That's a different story. we just have to stick apostrophes everywhere, and then they won't know where to go.
I don't know where I am.
That's the new stealth technology. You have an apostrophe on your street. Yeah. They can't come.
Apparently, there are people going around
Here,
Yorkshire
I've saved the day.
with their Sharpies putting apostrophes in on the signs. So.
Yeah. These are the tips. I'm keeping them in my head just in case. Keep a Sharpie.
All your
You never
apostrophes belong to us.
It's more a sign that we have no solutions left as a society, that we have to go and delete apostrophes because it doesn't work in the computer. Like, come on.
So we'll
There's
get
not
rid of
enough trouble is what you're saying.
Yeah. You don't work in the computer. You're history. I'm erasing you. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can end on that upbeat note. Thank you so much. I hope for joining us. I hope you enjoy Choco Taco Day or however you celebrate. Shoshana Weissmann, chairman of the Sloth Committee. Back to your sloths with you. She's at Twitter at Senator Shoshana. What are you working on at R Street? Anything new? Anything interesting?
More age verification policy and explaining why it's bad, and a lot of yelling at lawmakers, some of whom I love but are doing wrong stuff, and I need to alert them constantly.
Yeah.
Keep yelling at them, Shoshana.
Keep yelling at them. Yep. Actually, I love R Street's stuff. I'm considerably more liberal than R Street is, but I have to say, I can't help but agree in many cases with the positions you guys are taking. So,
yay! Thank you. Yeah, we
there's
try to
common
make our
sense
stuff about markets.
Yeah.
It's like we should stop funding people to live in flood zones. That's not good for people.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Shoshana. Always great to see you. Thank you for being here. You going hiking sometime somewhere soon?
In a bit. I put in for the Tennessee Firefly lottery. So if I win that, I'm going in June. Then I have a bunch of the West throughout the rest of the summer. I can't wait.
The Great Smoky Mountains Firefly Viewing Lottery.
This is what I do instead of bars.
Actually, that is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Right?
So
yes, I love fireflies.
And there's a lottery because so many people want to go see them. Is that right?
There's so much cool nature stuff. Yeah, they have to restrict people. So
I need to be there.
Yeah, it's so cool. And there's one other too. I think the others in Tennessee as well, but there's like 2 spots for them. I was considering doing the Super Bloom this year, but it ended up not being an official Super Bloom, which I have researched and like made sure it was going to be a real Super Bloom. So I just like track natural phenomena like a psychopath, you know.
I remember you were going to go see the Super Bloom. I'm so sorry that it didn't bloom for you.
Oh, it's okay. Last year's was amazing. I just wanted to do it again.
Where did I read that something like 8 different species of cicadas are all going to emerge this?
No, it's
That's right.
2.
We're having it's the convergence.
It's a convergence of 2.
Just 2? Okay.
Well, because it's like every 7 years and every 3 years or something like that. And then like this is a year that they're matching up.
Yeah, first time in 100 years or something like this. The 2024 periodical cicada emergence. For the first time since 2015, a 13-year brood will emerge in the same year as a 17-year brood.
Whoa.
But for the brood 19 and brood 13 will co-emerge for the first time since 1803. 7 species. See, I was right. All 7 named periodical cicada species will emerge this year. And in case, I know you went to see the eclipse, this isn't going to happen either until 2037. So you got a while. So if you want to see it,
I'm good.
A special year for periodical cicadas.
Ew.
Oh, but good news. Brood 19 and 13 do not overlap. That may occur in patches of... I think go see the fireflies. Forget the cicadas.
Yeah.
I think fireflies
Although
are magical.
I was living in St. Louis during an emergence, and it's loud.
It's really one loud. Breed is loud. Imagine several.
Even if they don't overlap, just having that happen twice in the same year, that's weeks of no resting.
So even though there are 7 species becoming adults in the same year. They're not overlapping all at once. Only 2 are overlapping. You were right. So we're both right. Only 2 will overlap, the 13 and the 17 this year in north central Illinois. So let's all go to north central Illinois for the cicada emergence.
I'm going with Shoshana to the fireflies.
I'd rather see fireflies. Oh,
Yeah,
look.
I'll go with the fireflies.
Okay.
Or sloths. I'll go down to Costa Rica for sloths.
Yeah, that's
I
worth
did
it.
sloths. Yep. I'm there.
2 broods of more than 1 trillion cicadas will emerge. First time since Thomas Jefferson was president. The red-eyed flying cicadas.
Ugh.
Oh, thanks.
They're the ones, they sound
I'm
like
not big on
buzzsaws. They go,
insects.
they're really
do.
loud. They're
They're
so loud. Ooh.
I mean,
All right.
they approach the
Aren't they, like,
volume
yeah.
of a jet engine.
Yeah. Aren't they one of the loudest creatures on the planet?
Fireflies, on the other hand, are absolutely quiet.
And they're beautiful.
And they're beautiful.
They glow.
So the lottery results come out Tuesday. Are you? I'm got my fingers crossed for you. Shoshana.
Hopefully, I've lost a couple of lotteries already, like the Mount Whitney lottery last year I lost, but I'm gonna keep doing this because I have unlimited vacation.
You know what they say? You can't win if you don't play, right? Good luck, Shoshana.
Thank you.
The wonderful Georgia Dow. She's getting her. What do they call him? A goon?
Cool.
A ghoul. She's got her ghoul outfit on. She's got her bandolier. She's got her beat up cowboy hat. Her Walt Goggins jacket sitting behind. He is wonderful in that show, I have to say.
He's so perfect for it. He's so perfect for it.
We're talking about the very, very hot Fallout on Amazon Prime, which is it's out completely, right? It was one of those where they released it
You
all
can
at
watch
once.
all of
Right.
them.
Yeah, they dropped everything at once.
Good. Somebody's saying your bandelier's on the wrong shoulder. You got to go to the other side. I don't know. Is there a
does
right
it have
way?
to? I would take it off, but then I have to take off the hat. You're going to have to do it.
Yeah, leave it on.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Thank you, though.
Find it all, youtube.com/Georgia Dow. And you're taping that tonight? When are you doing it?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. And what is the topic gonna be?
I'm not sure. I usually do the title after I do the video because sometimes I just go on a different. Like I don't
You don't script it. Good for you.
No, I just give myself my main points, like my main idea, and then I just talk. So I'm not really. Sometimes it goes somewhere where I didn't plan it to go.
Where in the DSM-5 would the ghoul fall? What diagnostic category?
Well, it's a very interesting thing because at the beginning he's very like good. Like I would say like chaotic good to like lawful
He's
good.
a nice good. He's
So,
got a little daughter. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, good
He's
guy. He
good.
tries to be honorable. He tries to be loyal.
Yeah.
And then what happens when you hit an apocalypse of society, literally, and you have to do things that go against your nature, and you find out the things that you stood for are what actually turned the society into what the mess it is now.
Yeah.
So a little bit of like that self-hatred and seeing his values wiped into his face that were used for evil. I think that it does some twisted stuff to us.
Oh, I can't wait
and
to
what
see
would you
it.
do to survive if you had to?
It's kind of my life story. It's good. My life as a podcaster.
Georgia, have you called the Vault Tech number yet?
I have not.
Wait a minute. What's the vault number?
In the TV show, there's an advertising,
and
they put a number for Vault Tech. If you're interested in getting a vault, it's an actual number. It's a serviced number, and if you call it, it's Walter Goggins.
No.
So you have to do that before you film. Just so you know, it's a nice little Easter egg.
Okay, how do I find Vault-Tec number? Okay, I'm writing it down. Awesome.
I want to call it right now before the show's over.
Oh, that would be awesome.
All right.
No, that will spoil it for people. Let them do it.
Don't listen. It's
Call the
213
Vault-Tec number.
213-25-VAULT. 213 is that New York? 25
LA.
LA. VAUL.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Thank you for that.
Don't listen
Thank
if
you
you're
for
gonna
that.
if you're gonna listen to George's show. Don't listen here. Is that really the number? Did I call it wrong?
That's the number. So that's actually him.
That's all it is.
The context is this is after he has been exposed to a massive amount of radiation and his skin is falling off. So he's in awe of what he's turning into.
Oh, this is him becoming the ghoul.
So good.
That's his ghoulification.
So I should put that at the end of the video.
Yeah, totally.
I'll put that at the end of the video.
And nobody will
else can
know.
enjoy.
Apparently, you can also text the number.
Oh.
Yeah.
What would happen if you text it?
Would he text you back a bunch of screaming?
Is it a picture?
I'm going to do it
meme?
right now. Let's see. No response. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait.
Thank you for texting Voltec. The next available appointment is 33 weeks from now.
Oh,
Please stand by. Reply Y to get recurring marketing and other texts from Fallout.
Oh, that's a brilliant.
Brilliant.
You know what? I love
now you're
little
going to keep
touches
getting
like
calls
this.
from these people, Leo.
I'm going to say yes because
You're going to get Vault-Tech info.
what's wrong with
Yes.
that? I'll
No,
be
you're gonna
ready
get Amazon
sounds
Prime
great.
selling you
when
the
the
next show.
apocalypse. Congratulations. We may or may not be in touch if an appointment becomes available.
Oh, that's so
Look at that.
Come
smart.
on, that's just.
It's now in my
no
contacts.
Oh my God. That's the brilliant. I hope that they randomly send people messages.
I'll let you know. Anyway, don't tell anybody so people will see it on George's channel. Yeah, youtube.com/Georgia Dow. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you, Father Robert. You the best. Keep feeding the Vaticats. They're doing okay?
They're doing fine. And actually, a new cat showed up today, an Abyssinian, which we do not have around Rome. So I'm not sure. It's probably a stray. It got lost from somebody. I'll try to find it.
There is a law, I think, in Rome that these are protected, right? These stray cats.
They're all protected. They are all protected. And that goes back to the time of the plague, because cats used to eat rodents. And so they wanted to make sure there were as many of them on the streets as possible. These days, there's actually a group that goes around and they sterilize cats to keep the colonies from exploding in size.
Yeah, you want to
So
do that.
all of the cats that are on our property have all been sterilized.
Oh, either by you or by somebody prior to you.
Correct. Yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't do it personally.
No, but I mean, you've arranged.
That would have been very awkward.
Arranged for the sterilization of these cats. They actually have a cat sanctuary in the place where Julius Caesar was stabbed in the Forum in Rome.
Correct.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I've visited it. Yeah. Well, there they are, the Vaticats. This is from 2 years ago, though. This is old Vaticats. I want new Vaticat video.
Oh, I've got all the new. I mean, I just went through my camera roll, and I had to offload stuff from my videos from Google Photos because I had more than 2 terabytes worth of cat videos, and I'm like, no, I'm not paying for that storage. So,
Wow.
That would be youtube.com/Digital Jesuit if you want to see the Vaticats. Aw, isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet?
And I've got some new content coming up. It'll be different than some of the stuff that you've seen in the past. Wrapping up for it right now. We're in pre-production. We'll probably start releasing in November. So I don't want to talk about it because until we get close enough to hype it.
I want to see you do
I'll bring it to Twit.
some of this stuff. I want to see you do some consciousness stuff. You're so profound and deep and thoughtful about that. That's what I would like to see from you.
It's actually a very good guess of what I might be doing.
All right, good.
And I was thinking it was you playing video games, but you know,
I could do that too.
that would be good.
Father Robert plays Helldivers 2.
Yeah. Or The Exorcist.
Oh my God.
Real
I actually-
exorcism happened.
I had a couple of segments where I was playing video games, and I just I named it "Play with Padre," and someone said, you probably
Probably.
should.
That's too
that
soon. Is that it? Too soon.
Yeah.
It was a too soon moment.
Father Robert,
funny.
love you. It's great to see you. I hope to be in Rome
Good to
and
see
see
you.
you soon. I missed you
Please.
last time. I just want to move to
You're
Rome
invited.
for a while. Yeah, I love it. I'm going to live
We've
in the
got an
house.
apartment.
I know. I'm
You've got
I'm
use of the
moving in.
studio.
I told Lisa. I said we could live with Robert. She said, "No, what?" I don't. But I feel like that's my calling. So I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. I really want to do it. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Shoshana. Thank you, Georgia. Thanks to all of you for joining us. A special thanks to our Club Twit members who make this show and all the shows we do possible. At this point, You're pretty much paying the payroll, which is pretty awesome. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm not on the payroll, so that's the good news. Neither Lisa nor I gets any of that, but it does go to our wonderful team. People like Benito, who you hear a lot these days, Benito Gonzalez, our technical director, producer, editor, to Jammer B, John Slanina, who is our studio manager, to Burke McQuinn to make sure everything works, to Debbie and Sebastian in the continuity department, to Ty, our marketer, and of course, our CEO and executive producer, Lisa Laporte. I am Leo Laporte. Thank you for being here. And as we have said now, we are in our 20th years. We've said for more than 19 years. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Another Twit is in the can. Bye-bye.
Amazing.